Now we're up.
Okay, and just maybe ping the server.
Yeah, doing it now.
Right. I'll just advertise it to others as well.
Oh my God, what's happening in your house?
In house?
I can hear
my dad's like sweeping something in. That's why you can hear like the
whole universe collapsing.
Yeah.
Oh, Unfins is here.
Yeah, sorry about that.
It's fine. Unfins is here.
Yeah, we're just waiting for people.
Yeah, it's all, just letting them know. I know they're there. Crap. Right?
You can see who?
Unfins.
Unfins. Oh yeah, the one of the category winners.
Oh God. Yeah. That's just. Hey, Freda.
Well, Gigi's online. Hello. Hi.
Remind me of the fact that
you haven't what?
I feel like I haven't done something. I feel like I've forgotten something. I always feel like I've forgotten something.
Well, given how little you sleep.
Look, okay. Sleep just enough. Just enough sleep. Hey, Yasaki.
Isa's online? Oh wow,
yeah, I'm more excited about that than I probably should. But I'm already excited.
You're always excited in like some way or another, which is really good. I mean, yeah, so how is everyone who is watching us right now? Like, how are y'all doing?
I'm here to tell us they won. 2 of them are winners. And like there's also Jewel, who I emailed a little while ago. Oh, she's so nice. But yeah.
Who?
Jules Swan. I said Susan Swan, yeah.
Well,
the one who read Edith. She's so nice.
Well, I mean, generally, it's better to be nice when you're working in comics instead of like an angry git, because
I love how you just called them instead of being an angry git. But yeah, no, they're lovely people. Arazan, hey.
Alright, hi. Good. Alright. I don't know who else have we got live viewing right now. We say that this is good. I mean, we generally, if it's an indie show where we don't interview the author, generally it's shorter than our usuals. Like, but
they're usually like an hour
then again,
long, and then like we get carried away.
Because we can't help it. We just are pretty into this topic, and well, it is what we do.
Excuse Kaz's background. So basically, in her home, they're attempting to perfect nuclear fusion. There's gonna be a lot of noise.
Yeah, pretty much. Nah. It's not. The background noise is gonna be there for too long. It's just.
I just think it's
getting. Yeah, well, it's either sweep and get some of the broom like hitting around, or we bring out the vacuum cleaner. And I don't think you guys would want that. Yeah.
Oh my God, the vacuum cleaner.
Yeah.
Oh, that will break me. Like,
yeah, if you guys are listening, yeah, do let us know like what you're up to, what you're working on at the moment, or like I mean, chilling out this nice weekend or whatnot. I say nice weekend, but it's probably cold as hell for some of you right now.
Fucking cold. I am so cold. Kaz, why do you bully me so?
I'm not bullying. I don't have control over the weather. I'm not Storm, okay?
That's what you always say. Crying while waiting for a new GPU so I can draw again.
Oh yeah, ours GPU blew out the other day, and it lasted 3 years, and I was just like, oh gosh,
God.
I don't know I don't know how he abused it, but I know that he definitely does some kind of work that necessitates not even a 1060.
Yeah. Hey, Digga.
It has to be like, yeah, it has to be higher.
Yeah. A 1060 will be fine. Get a 1050. I'm not gonna lie. It's worth if you're
No,
not.
I mean ours doing like other things apparently. I just don't know what they are.
Probably video games, which I respect very much. I'm a man of taste myself. I understand a good graphics card for a good video game.
Trying to stay in places with quality air. God, is there?
Oh my God.
I mean, is there like a fire or something? Oh, 3D rendering with CUDA cores. Oh yeah, fair enough.
Oh, I completely respect that as well. I'm a man of taste. I do enjoy the odd render or two. I mean, I have Cinema 4D. Sometimes I open it and look at it. You know, like.
Oh my God!
There are 9 fires.
Wait, that's in California, right?
What?
That's kind of intense.
The fuck?
Yeah.
I don't look at them in confusion. I look at them. Honestly, I don't know what I look at them with. I'm a bit tired. If you can't tell, I think this is. I'm gonna have the same voice I had the first time I was on the podcast as an actual host. Because that day I was also very tired. I was so chill.
Yeah.
Too bad I've never.
Yeah.
Callie's really on.
Gosh. Don't know how to look at that. I think just insert that quote into like. I mean, can you imagine like just putting a meme image of like Nen's art and just honestly don't know how to look at that, and like it just goes with everything.
Yeah, honestly, don't know how to look at that is my life motto. Honestly,
I mean, picture a featured comic. Honestly, don't know how to look at that. Picture of someone's really bad attempt at a meme. Honestly, don't know how to look at that. Nen's own photo. Honestly,
my degree. Honestly, don't know how to look at that.
Okay.
My rent prices. Did I sign that contract? Yes. Maybe I did. I can't guarantee anything anymore. But yeah, I think we should bring ourselves to starting. What do you think? We should.
I think we should we should address like what we're going to be talking about today. So I mean we have a good stuff to talk about, obviously, because contest category winners have been decided. All pretty good comics. I like to say, like some of them we know a bit more personally, and I think a little bit of speculation maybe.
We know them all.
It's gonna be hard.
It's getting terrifying. I'm not gonna lie, guys.
It is.
I love you all. I love you so much, especially Unfins, who Isaki fucking exposed me. I haven't had time to address this, but okay. So the only reason I know Unfins. And let me just switch to the transition. I'm not doing the intro song today, Kaz. I'm too fucking tired.
No, that we don't need to. Not for this one. No, that's not.
Okay, so like essentially the only reason why Unfins knows anything about me is because Issa took a spot of the fucking gift. Issa took a spot from took a shot from the last indie where I didn't shut up about him, which, mind you, that was a relatively personal situation. I didn't think he was ever gonna see it. I was just talking. Issa took a shot from that, send that to him. Then he went, "Oh, this is rather interesting." DM'd me. Then and I was like,
basically,
yeah. I was like, "That's really funny." Haha. And then a couple days later, he just goes, a couple weeks later, after talking to him a couple of times, he just DMs me and goes, "By the way, all the guys in the contest are currently watching the podcast." Like, I was like, "Qu'est-ce que c'est?"
Oh my god, senpais are noticing us.
Senpais are noticing us, and I'm terrified. I don't know what I can say anymore, because it's just gonna fucking reveal me.
I mean, you do it to yourself though, Nen. Like, I mean, some of the stuff you say, it's out of left field for me. So,
excuse me, it's not left field. Excusez-moi.
Yeah, we do appreciate the attention and sometimes love, I guess. I mean,
appreciate
it does motivate us to keep going. It's almost, I think soon it will be a year that we've been doing this.
Oh
although
yeah, in February it will be a year. We're so close, but it's also been a year since we even made the fucking server. I'm pretty.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy. Actually.
I think. I mean, it's different because because back then you were the one like who started out hosting with me, and the podcast took on a different kind of feel. But
Yeah.
I think I like where we are now, personally.
I love where we are. It's.
Yeah.
I mean, we went from being uptight to not being uptight, and I don't know about you, but I don't like being uptight. It
works better. It works a lot better, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't mean that we only gush about authors. Like, we know like some things, like I'm sure they themselves know like where they have to improve, and we do discuss that from time to time. But I just prefer the bit more of like a fireside type chat thing, because authors are going through like a lot of in their minds, they probably have a lot of worries to think about. They don't need us to, say it out even more on like a show where they are front and center.
Exactly.
So,
there's only one person who I genuinely have concerns to voice, but apparently, according to Kaz, I'm not allowed. It's a crime. Words.
We shall discuss this later.
All I'm gonna say is it's not fair. I have rights too.
Yes, you do have rights, and I do have the right to react to said rights. Okay, all jokes aside, let's actually get to talking about the category winners. I mean, I think for some of them it was it was a bit more obvious like who would have won, but for others it was pretty much a close shave.
Like, I'm not gonna lie. Look, okay, I love everyone in the I said this last time. I love everyone in the competition. All the people out there writing, all the people out there doing work. Keep it up. You're doing good work. But very, very important point. There was only like one place where I was genuinely considering that the person I thought was gonna win wasn't gonna win. Everywhere else, I was like, I am so sure. I was sure about comedy. I was sure about the group that Issa was in, because Issa,
gripping, yeah.
Look, I love you, Issa. I'm your biggest fan. Never forget that. Mwah. But like, I was also sure about Edith. Edith is top quality stuff. I actually started to really like it. I'm not a big fan of like all those touchy-feely things, but like I started to get into it. It got me somewhere deep inside.
Not a fan of touchy-feely things, but wants cuddles and all that kind of stuff.
Look, it's a complicated relationship. I also really liked. I mean, we talked about Cape of Spirits. I remember last time, didn't we? And it was
between Cape of Spirits and the House of Stars. I mean, for that category,
that one was a weird one because, like, honestly, okay, like as I started to give Most Epic a lot more time, I started to realize that the main. Oh my God, Ara, don't call me out like that. But I started to realize that the reason. As we talked about it like way at the beginning, the main problem was just like it takes a lot of time to ramp up your stuff to be as epic as it needs to be. Like, because like the problem I had was I was looking at Epic and I was going, I don't see Naruto, more or less. Like, I don't see my big epic tale where everything's already set and all the set pieces make sense because they haven't had the time of all the best epic things that we read. So it was quite when I gave it more time. I did a reread of both of them. I was sure Cape Spirits was gonna win. Best one and stuff. But and I couldn't get in contact with Christina. I think it's just because I couldn't find her email. But
whoops! You should have just slid into DMs.
Dude,
that's another.
Do you know how weird and creepy it is to get into DMs? Okay, I'm gonna say this. This is very important advice. Even if you don't like anything else about today's show, send this to everybody you care about that makes any kind of content. Get a fucking email and put it in an easy place to find because it's the least personal, most personal way to get in contact with you. Yes, tell her I like her work, but it's going to be weird if it comes from you. Just do it without telling her that I said, oh wait, this part is in the fucking podcast. Shit.
You know, it's probably going to be clipped instead. Tell her.
I do this to myself. I do this to myself. Everyone goes, Why do you trap yourself? I don't fucking know. DJ Khaled told me I played myself, and I did it again.
Pretty much. Yeah, I mean, I think for me personally, right, like we said, a couple of them were a bit more like I mean, like a bit more obvious how it was gonna go, but I was also judging in terms of the art as well.
Yeah.
Okay, for Edith and the four of them, the art wise, it's for me it's a toss up. Like it's a bit it's a bit apples and oranges, but I just felt I mean, okay, and I say this with a lot of love because I know it's hard if if English is your second language, but it took away a bit. I mean, the errors that were in the four of them. Because there were like those grammatical mistakes here and there really did stand out for me.
It really always.
And it does, and I know maybe I'm looking into it a lot more than the average reader because it is what I am paid to do.
I'm reading too much into this, but I was paid for this.
No, it's a skill that I am paid for, and as such, I will almost always exercise it. But I will appreciate that. I mean, as they move to featured, and I am pretty sure like all the top 8 are going to be moved to featured anyway.
Yeah, they are.
So
they are. Plus the extras that we don't know about.
Yeah.
Like what we also know about.
Yes, some of them are actually moving to featured as well, even though they just like made finalists or something. Yeah. So as they move to featured, I will imagine that, well, depending on who they get as editors, or like based on the money, they will probably have more power to like hire someone to fix up the dialogues and stuff like that. So it can only get better from there, I would hope.
Oh yeah, no, totally. It will only get better from that. Honestly, I think the best part of like this contest for me has just been watching people who I know are decent creators at minimum, decent people at writing and creating in a situation where I know they're going to get better. And I only have like the hope that they will not somehow fall prey to being a little bit lazy. But these people, because I know two of them, they work hard. One of them doesn't sleep. I'm talking about you on Fins. I know your life. You told me a lot. But like I know these people can create and they don't sleep just to get something out because they really want it to be at a certain quality level. And it's just, I know they will make good stuff. I know they will only continue to make, and that's for me is the best part of this entire thing. It's everyone, even people who didn't make it through the contest, just people who get picked. I know they're going to continue to make really, really good stuff, even if they stop making this and make new shit, because they are just those kinds of people. They are those kinds of quality creators, not like some of the people I talk about that you don't let me talk about. I'm being oppressed.
Who did you want to? Oh yeah, you mean some of those people on like
some of those people in those places with those things.
Does it happen to be the person that the people that Basil doesn't like either?
Yeah.
All those. Yes. Yeah, we try not to shit on them like harshly, because we don't want it to bite us, in the butt someday.
Everything bites you in the butt. Okay, yeah.
I mean, because come on, like we got Merryweather on the other day. I mean, I don't think that would have been possible if we were, shitting on him.
Oh no, definitely.
Like,
but I would never have shit on. He's like, you know what? Fuck it. I think the problem is I'm just jealous. When somebody's doing really well, and like you're like, what have they got that I don't? You just get really jealous and you get upset about it. Yeah, I think that's what the problem is.
Well, then maybe you should quit coding and go into creating comics fully.
Oh my god! Please don't tell me that. I don't have that.
Nah.
I don't have that ability.
Did Issa just dox like Unfins in terms of like the first name?
That's his name. I saw it. I didn't want to point it out. Okay, since she did it, I can do it too. You just call me green.
You're so green. You're practically the Grinch right now.
Oh my god! You know what the worst part of being called the Grinch is? I actually don't like Christmas. So someone calling me out like this, I feel so exposed.
okay. I'm pretty sure that like people who are listening in are already familiar with the top four, the category winners. So we probably don't have to say say much about like what what the stories are about or like why you should be reading them. I
Yeah, of
guess
course. But if you want to really
unless you
if you want a really
want to
quick
like.
background,
Mhm.
I'm gonna do this because I think it's funny. No, but more importantly, if you want a really quick breakdown, it's very simple. There's Mr. Funny Man, the guy who makes a lot of advice from the Great Duke of Hell.
I
Mrs.
love that one.
Yeah, thank you. Mrs. Slightly Funny, but also really, really colorful, arty. Alan's cat. Mrs. Feels Good.
With cute Shotas.
With cute Shotas, and she has a weird obsession with young boys. But let's not talk about that. Alan's Curse by Isaki. Mrs. Feelgood and Makes Me Feel All the Things. Jewel Swans, who makes the comic Edith. Much Epic, Very Wow, who makes Christina. He makes
Cape of Spirit.
Christina's
a girl's name.
No, because this has happened to me before. I've met somebody with a name like this, and it was a guy, and I don't want to be caught like that. All right. I don't. Wow. All right. I'm gonna cover my bases. He, she, they make it was. It was a Russian guy, and his name was Christina, and I didn't expect it.
Okay. I get. Russians are a different story. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. But there's also some really good people that didn't win. Unfortunately, they were just up against superior competition. They're all going to hate me for saying that, but it was. There's also.
Can confirm that Christina is female. I am looking at her on Instagram right now. Okay, so I'm not sure who just joined in right now. What was that?
Did you? Oh, this is why I don't have the noises up.
That's all right. Superior competition.
Yeah, superior competition. Man. They capitulated to superior force. Is unlucky as lucky does. Not as funny as Mr. Funny Man. The House of Stars. Could be.
I just think the. My
Raining
God, man, the way
there are not enough knives in the sky, so I'm a bit. But it's all right. The four of them. There's actually three of them, but let's call it four. There's not actually three, by the way. I'm joking. But these are all really good comics to check out. Could be more stars. Best rating ever.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm split. Obviously, like you'd have to split hairs to say like why you'd pick one over the other. Like, I mean, for one, it's just the coloring and the art. For the other, it's the errors in the dialogue, and for someone, it's maybe the story isn't as. I mean, story still doesn't grab you after like the same number of episodes, and
that's
etc. etc.
I think the only thing that the only one I know, and it's unfortunate, is because of the way. Thanks for following, Nick. Thank you so much. We appreciate every follow we get. You too, Faith. You guys are awesome. Thank you. Just gonna cover some bases there before I go back. The only one who this is again because this is my thing. Comedy is my thing. I love comedy. Thank you, Dai. You too. The only reason why I'm gonna say this because Finns is here and he can't do anything to me. The reason why Lucky does didn't win is just like they need to either figure out what's more outwardly funny to the general population or something, because it's not like their comedy wasn't there. It's just I think it's just either got unlucky in that we are just. And Fizz just makes really good humor for the market that he's for the market that reads this, or they need to research or they need to research more into like comedic, because it's not like they're not funny. They do funny things, objectively funny things. I just didn't laugh often enough.
Yeah, I think like for some people when they write comedy, they have the joke in mind rather than the character.
Yeah, it's
so the character could be you could like put a talking garbage bag and they would still deliver the same joke and they would have the same impact. That's kind of way they write some comedy, which it's a little bit it's not so great because you want to actually be laughing with the characters, not
Exactly.
at their lines per se.
Yeah, I want to be
That
somewhere
will
in
keep you
between
hooked for longer.
Yeah, I want to be somewhere between laughing at them and laughing with them. And like
Yes.
I always say this, there's an objective way to do comedy, and objectively they both do it pretty well. It's just one of them hits the market, hits the group of people who like this the right way. Unfortunately, when you draw an overly elaborate demon in a regular normal world, you will get a lot more laughs than I think you probably expected to. And one of them just didn't. But it's fine. Like I think like that name is
People
so
should try
long.
things anyway.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
sometimes what is more guaranteed, quote unquote, to nail like, I mean, attention isn't something you enjoy doing either. I mean, even in art itself, like fan art always sells, almost always, if it's executed properly. But some
Yeah.
people just really can't stick fan art. Like,
Yeah,
and some
'cause
people some
if
people get attention for like really rendered stuff, and some
yeah,
people just don't like doing really
because it
rendered
feels kind of
stuff.
crappy when you're like, I spent 16 hours creating this original character who shoots fire out of his ass. He's perfect in every way. And then some asshole comes in and just draws Deadpool, but slightly more kawaii, 6 million shares. What?
Yeah, it can
Why?
often feel, yeah, it often feels like, you're swimming with like no real direction. Like, where should I go, like, to become famous?
Yeah.
Well,
I encourage
I
you
say
to
become
continue to
famous, but
experiment. I also encourage you to continue to actually look at your market and see what you're going to hit. I did some market appraisals of Webtoon's site using as many analytics as I could get. They're mostly American. If you want your jokes to really land, make sure your jokes are mostly American.
or like American relatable, because don't forget,
Yeah,
American is still relatively multicultural,
yeah.
but it also means like language is kind of paramount
It's
to a
quite
certain extent.
it's quite important, and also how you say things and how you may put things. Referencing is very big in America. American comedy is very based on referencing. They're not like Europeans who,
Memes.
yeah, memes. They're not like Europeans whose entire comedic structure revolves around self-loathing and
Mm-hmm.
Brexit. that's that's
Oh,
European comedy
Brexit.
right there.
Brexit.
Like,
Yeah, I mean, because like self-loathing, self-deprecation can get a little bit old after a while.
yeah, but it's just
A little.
it's how we function in Europe. Ask Issa. Just how it is. You know this. You've been here. You lived here. It's just how we roll.
Lived. She still lives there.
I don't know.
I.
I'm not saying you lived here. It's how we roll.
Oh, me.
Yeah.
Yes.
I
We are
totally
totally.
don't hate myself.
Yeah,
Look,
and then Scandinavian like humor is a little bit different
Scandinavian
too.
humor is
Like,
just fucking. Igor could have died, but he didn't because he got off the snow in time. Ha! Igor's an idiot.
yo, just ask Peeps for some homemade and you get some automatic hit pattern praise. Yeah, that's pretty much how it works in Weebland. I think, yeah, but all in all, I would find it really hard to pick out the grand prize win. I think they have to make one more episode, right?
My Yeah, my God. Oh my God. Okay, Rishim is reloading the chat. But my God, like I looked at that. That choice, that
Mm-hmm.
the group. Okay, I wish they just stopped here. I really wish they would and just like go on, like ignore the rest of the competition because there's no. How do you pick between such differing genres? It's like It feels a bit like a
But
lie.
what's the judging criteria for this? Because if you wanted to just say, or go back to the judge's choice and like the
Yeah,
engagement kind of thing,
I'm trying to.
it's hard because they have different markets,
Yeah,
and
exactly. They have such different
some
markets.
people are, yeah, some people are just going to be more likely to comment than others, and depending on what genre you're in.
Yeah, and like if it's a consumer vote thing, I don't know. I don't see that working either. Basically, I don't see a method through this that is objective enough that I would call a good way of choosing a winner. But they're gonna do it, and I guess because they promised it, they have to. So fair enough. Not gonna.
Speaking of like, yeah,
Yeah.
speaking of objectiveness and all that, we do, and selection policies, we do have to cover that a bit in the wider context of Tom Akel's
Oh
Tom
God.
Akel's firing
Okay,
as well. But
guys.
we will do that later.
Yeah,
We will
I was
do
just
that
gonna
later.
say when she wanted to talk about this, it was the first time I've ever seen her so passionate talk about anything. She came in and she was like, no, we're talking about this. I was like, what about no?
We kind of had to because our listener base is pretty much primarily on Webtoon,
Yeah,
and they're closely aligned.
creators.
Aligned to the platform. They will want to know like where does this leave them in the future, like potential changes and whatnot. So it's and also probably a good idea to like talk about like how like professional comics jobs work and the like, but that will be for later because I think if you have unless you have more things to talk about for this one, we should talk about Legends contest. You're more clued up on that than
Legend. I am. All right, look, I looked into the Legend contest. Two things I'm just gonna say. Okay, we're talking Legend contest now. Two things, just a few things I'm gonna say about. One, Legend is fucking insane, and I'll tell you why later. But they're insane with the kind of money they're throwing around. Jesus Christ. Although to be fair, this current contest is their most reserved contest, and I say that with hey TV Time, what's up on YouTube? How you doing, buddy? We see you, we hear you, we love you. Welcome.
Here? Okay.
Look, I'm trying to be cool, all right? Don't ruin my fucking... Thanks, Kaz.
I love you too. Now let's carry on.
Legend is pretty cool in that... I'd say pretty cool in that contest is basically... It's basically very similar to the Tapas one. You complete...
Tapas had a contest?
Yeah, the Tapas contest in like August.
Oh, that one. Yeah, because I was still thinking about like the creator incubator. Yeah,
that one. And they were like, the basic system was essentially, hey, we're gonna have you create a certain amount of the comic already and just give it to us as like a I forgot the word for it. I'm forgetting a lot of words today, but essentially it's just like do 2 completed episodes, show it to us. We'll see if it holds any water, and we may or may not go forward with it. That was that was pretty much their system. They've been running. This is their 4th contest. They run 4 of them. They run 3 of them before. The reason I keep saying that, I know, right? The reason I keep saying that they're a bit crazy is that their grand prize is ridiculous. in the last contest, their grand prize was $100,000 to the winner.
Not total $100,000.
No. This time is total, but the last one, I saw the winner's thing, and it's literally said $100,000 next to the winner's name. I don't know how it's paid out. They have no words on how it's paid out. I couldn't find anyone talking about it. I'm pretty sure if you're getting that kind of money, you're not even really asking those fucking questions. This time, in a more reserved manner, they're giving out 50 grand to the first place grand prize winner, 10 grand to the second place winner, and then to 8 third place winners, 5 grand.
This is all internal voting, though.
Yeah, it's all internal voting. There is no external or fan-based voting, so there is no method of checking whether it's... I'll get to that, but there's no method of checking whether it's viable with the market. They're just gonna judge, like some really weird, like X Factor judges. They're just gonna sit in a room and judge you without anyone around.
But then again, right? Legend has always been you don't really upload things to their like line webtoon. Like you don't do Discover and then they play it out.
Legend
you kind of have
curated.
to be. Yeah, it's very curated, and it's also paid as well.
Yeah.
Now, I think I recall like someone brought up that Legend is actually in a hot soup for a couple of things as well, right?
Yes, I did see some of those, but this is the problem. Right? This is the problem. I saw a bunch of those. I couldn't find enough to corroborate anything. So they weren't like I didn't see things like screenshots of emails and things like that. I couldn't find them. We all know that there's only one forums for everyone who makes comics. Tapas forums, the greatest forums of them all, made by the smallest company in existence. But the Tapas forums were literally my best source of information that were firsthand, and there weren't any images. There were just people talking about how they weren't getting listed, and then like their comic would come up on the website. I don't know. I saw some things about people not getting paid. Yeah, like there wasn't anything that I could substantiate. And I don't want to give you unsubstantiated claims and say they're real. That would be completely. Here
we go. Here you go. So
substantiated thing. I looked and I didn't find one.
I've got like a post from authors themselves, like their personal author accounts, who have said that personal accounts like telling people this is what happened to me at Legend and stuff, and their authors. And I think stuff of like overwork and the like did come up.
That I did see again. I did see the overwork one. I saw a lot of these stories, but they weren't. How do I put it? They felt a bit flat. And I don't know if I'm going to just believe them outright, because quite often
I think it's difficult. Yeah, sorry, go on.
Because quite often it's just like when it comes to contests and things, even with the webtoon contest, we're just lucky that the people who won are all adults. Like, it's very possible that a young person who doesn't know what they're doing could win, and they get stuck in a job they didn't even really want to do. And like,
I think sorry.
I don't know. It's just like I don't know if these people are like prepared for it, or they thought it was gonna be like making comics for themselves. I don't know how much of this, because there's no story from the actual company. I don't have numbers, I don't have data, so that's why I'm not jumping on it personally.
Okay, from what I can see, like just based off, some of my past research is that with Legend, like you've got to remember a lot of the creators are Korean natives, so statements that they put out may not be as eloquent enough to be compelling accounts for you personally. That's why it might feel like it's fallen a bit flat. Whereas Legend, they because of how they promote, they kind of need to have like people who are actually well versed in the language. They run a Tumblr as well, I think I recall, and that definitely show. And their stuff's well written, like pretty eloquent when they answer like Tumblr asks. So it makes me feel like it's a little bit unfair, like because the artist who is getting, the artist like who's Korean native is likely getting their stuff translated by professional translators, and if they're being screwed over, maybe they can talk about it in Korean, and then you kind of have to and you usually have to depend on like translators to convey it in English, or the author's own ability to talk in English. And from there, either the author doesn't know enough to convey like how serious it is, or the translators put their own spin on things slightly, and how that can go. So it's really difficult. But at the same time, though, there is kind of no smoke without fire. So
yeah, you're totally right. Like that. Like, again, I'm not saying like this definitely doesn't exist. I'm just saying like I don't know enough for me to talk coherently about this and be like 100% sure about what I'm gonna say on it, But you are completely right in that there is no situation where people just start complaining and nothing is going on. Something's going on. I don't know how bad it is.
It actually got reported on like national TV in Korea, like SBS. Like, so this is there was one thing about in 2017. The summary is like Legend has been considered to be engaging in some under the table kind of stuff that writers and artists aren't happy about. So let's see. The SBS report says that Legend guarantees basic wage, but it's the lowest royalty sharing. Yeah. So like you get a basic wage, but then you get a lot of like royalties deducted. And authors that fail to make deadlines have to pay late fees.
Yeah, I did see that.
I don't know how people think about the practice. Like, what's your thought on that?
That is such a bullshit thing. Okay, so I saw that. That was probably the only thing that got me into a situation of maybe something horrible is happening. But like, it's just okay. Being made to pay late fees, not an ideal working condition for anything. But in a market where you are paying them, they're paying them a wage that is quite a high wage, albeit you are correct, they do get virtually no royalties. It's, I don't know. I feel like it's I feel like one was a bit disrespectful to the creator. I think creators would rather get paid less for more ownership of their work and more respect in their workplace. I think anybody would rather be paid less for more respect in their workplace.
Yeah. All right, so further details. Some cases of late payments to authors. Several authors have started complaining publicly about Legend policies, or they went to the company management. And then an internal email got leaked from Legend, which SBS revealed, where there was a blacklist of authors who complained about company policies.
Yes, I did see.
Which means they were,
I saw law on the blacklist, which is really, really weird. Because okay, so that blacklist, it sounds Wait, go ahead. There's a comic called Reversi, which I read.
Yes, that was the one that was where the authors have posted. The author posted a personal account of what was going on.
Exactly. That's the one that I saw, and I read it, and it's just her saying, okay, so it's her saying that her comic has been blacklisted. She's been blacklisted. Her work's been blacklisted from the site, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
But on the same day, while I was checking through the comments, because the comments are where all the strange things are for me. I was looking through, and it was like they were like, "Oh, well, they're listing your comic. They're still listing it on their website. What?" So this is either the biggest clusterfuck of all time, in which case, what the fuck, or something isn't 100% somewhere, and I don't know where it is. Because I was looking at it, and it's just like people are they're making their work, and it seems that they're working hard on it, but it's just stuff like being told, "Oh, your comic is coming up on the website." They're still advertising it. In fact, they're even putting it, because I think they had them in the contest award winner collection, and it's just it's right there.
Reversi?
Yeah, Reversi. Despite the fact that it's not. That it's apparently been blacklisted. Back around the time of January 30th, it was in the contest winners section, and it was there. 15 episodes free, everything. So they were still selling her content. So I don't.
I mean, it would be even worse if they totally didn't. But it means that blacklisted means that promotional events or marketing, like active promotional events or marketing, they don't have that on there.
Okay.
Also, if the authors want to leave, company contracts forbid them from suing the company or terminate or instigating termination, which potentially violates Korean labor laws.
That definitely violates Korean labor laws. Yeah. Because a lot of their labor laws are from America, so that definitely violates. If I remember, South Korean labor, a lot of their laws in general are just from America. So I think that would probably violate one of their laws. Their behavior is not the best, to say the least. Mm-hmm. At least their perceived behavior. I can't really call them out. I'm not going to support them. I wouldn't tell you to join their contest, to be quite fucking honest. But because my reasons for telling you not to even be involved with them are different. Because you've come with that, and you're not. Those are legitimate situations that we should consider. My reasons are genuinely things like just reading their contest thing is genuinely fucking terrifying. Like I said, they're crazy people. One of their things is we're judging it internally, which is fine, I guess. We're judging it internally, and then they ask, what is the evaluation criteria? How does it work? They explained nothing. They just went originality, completeness, and entertainment value, which are the vaguest fucking phrases I've ever heard in my life. I apologize, but they are vague as shit. They're so vague, even Sony Vegas wouldn't agree with them. My God. It's depressing, and it's just, and you go through it. It's just they have situations for.
It's also Lehzin should know better that if the author is struggling to make the work on time, more often than not, it is not due to laziness.
Of course not.
It really is not due to laziness, and punishing someone for working hard but just sometimes not, rather than offering them support would it be better if you hired an assistant, or would it help you to do this? It really isn't offering a solution. It's just in the same way it's some people who disagree against hitting a kid because you're only teaching them to fear something rather than why not to do it
exactly
a proper way.
That is actually a very good one for it. Also, they don't take, by the way, the contest doesn't take any short series. They want you to last at least a duration of 30 episodes and be publishable for at least 6 months, with a new episode every week to 10 days.
So if you already have a completed series, that's one thing. If you're still working on it ongoing, probably a good idea to have buffers already ready.
I wouldn't tell you. I still wouldn't tell you to give them your work. All I will say, if you are looking for something, and I'm gonna say this, and I hope someone clips this. All right, let's say you haven't made a comic yet, or maybe you're just thinking of getting into digital art. Lehzin does something really nice for you that I would say, take advantage of them, the scummy bastards. They give out free free. What's that application everyone uses again? I forgot.
Clip Studio Paint.
Clip Studio Paint. They give out Clip Studio Paint Pro free for 3 months to everybody who emails them for it. You get it, and you get a key to use it for 3 months. And I mean, I'm not complaining. It's Clip Studio Pro, right? I mean, I'm sure we all want it.
Yeah.
Clip Studio Paint Pro. Like, I'm sure we all want it. At least, I'm sure we all want to use it a little bit if you don't want to pay for it. They give it to you for free for 3 months. Go get it. If you haven't drawn digital art yet, you want to make something, you want to do something with art, go do it. I know you're good, Dai. You can't. But like, for people who want it, go get it from them, and then ignore them. Don't talk to them. Don't go back to them for anything else. Just go and get.
Do not pass go. Do not collect anything.
Do not collect 2 million. Do not go to the train station. Just go and collect it and go backwards. Okay.
Where is this thing about Clip Studio Paint? Actually, I haven't seen it.
Let me find it. I saw it in one of the last competition ones. It's supposed to email. Either their not their contest, their contest help at Lehzin, and then they give you Clip Studio Paint. Let me get it. Lehzin Clip Studio Paint. I told you because I was talking to you about this the other day. Yeah, there it is. All applicants.
Oh, that's last year.
Was that
last year?
Is that only last year's one? Doesn't that apply? Doesn't that still apply? Email them anyway.
Sure.
What's the worst that could happen?
What?
No,
oh wow, there was there was something that says there like last year 3 winners were found to have violated qualified. Yeah. Nice.
Remind you, they still gave first place. This was the year they gave first place $100,000. $100,000.
Yeah. Ridiculous, right?
Yeah, they also gave people Clip Studio Paint X for free, which everyone knows that's a $300 package, right?
If you want like high enough, yeah, that's but X is really good if you're already like pro level like comic making. It's just easier to manage like your pages that way.
I think it's also good for animation. That's the main reason it's so expensive. The animation software.
Yeah, there's a lot of other features that I think is worth the jump. Like it's a huge jump, but still worth the jump considering how cheap Pro is. Because Pro is like, you know,
$40,
especially when it's on sale. Especially when it's on sale, that's like what, 25, 20 or so.
Where are you getting?
Some people bought it for 15 in the past.
I know. Yeah, I know. Like, there are bundles that sell lots of software keys, and I think Clip Studio just is in some of them. Like, I've seen them on websites like Slack. God, I need to learn how to use words today. I mean, I've seen them on websites like Slashdot, which is a big website I go to for a lot of software and programming stuff. They give you just like really cheap and stupid prices on them. I've seen like Clip Studio on there for like $10, like, or in a bundle of keys, and you buy a whole bunch of keys and you buy them for like $40, but it's like Clip Studio and then like a bunch of other art software together all in one place. Kaz's dog has invaded her room.
Sorry, just give me 1 moment to.
It's fine.
1 moment to.
Our special guest, Chicken Nugget Dog, has invaded her room. If anyone has any questions for the dog, please post them in chat. I'm sure he will be willing to answer.
Yes.
Expensive.
Sorry, I just had to shut up. I had to shut up some of the background noise.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Dimi, get expensive Cintiq. Get Clip Studio Pro on sale. Everyone loves Chicken Nugget Doggo. I promise.
I think Chicken Nugget Doggo, aka Sesame,
is the greatest dog of all time. Yes, you're right.
I can't show him on stream though, sadly. But I think we might have sent pictures like before. I will.
We need to send lots of pictures of Sesame. I'm going to start using Sesame as marketing. Do you like this dog? If you do, come and watch this show. Who gets chicken nuggets and doesn't share? That's bullshit. I disagree with.
Damn.
I disagree with her politics.
Damn, really? Yeah. Okay. We still got anything we want to cover about Legend? Otherwise, we are going to cover
Legend's done. Basically, look, very shorthand. Don't go to Legend. If they're still giving out Clip Studio Pro, get it from them. Fuck them.
Yeah, I think until like it's clear that they're not screwing over their authors as much, even though like Yeah, the coin system, I get that it is a way of like actually guaranteeing some form of income for their author. For the
Yeah,
site, so that
of
they can
course.
pay their authors. But yeah, because unlike Line Webtoon, they don't have like other businesses to
Yeah, to
bring
supplement their
money in.
money. Yeah, it's just the way it is. Like, I get it,
Hmm.
but like, don't
Yes.
be cunts. I want you. I want everyone to quote me on that because I mean, if I'm not allowed to have a war with the people I want to have a war with, Kaz,
Uh,
then I'm gonna have a war with some other people who are dickheads. Fuck them.
yeah.
They're cunts.
I mean, we
Lehzin.
Ned, I'm not gonna allow you to like tank this show's PR, basically.
I refuse to tag the show's PR. I respect it too much. I will. Although increase the show's PR by tanking someone else's PR.
It's not a zero-sum game, Ned.
It's a high level. It's a high level like Pokemon battle, and you have. All right, they're just playing checkers, and I am playing chess.
All right, let's. I think we really. I mean, the reason why I like brought this up with and then that we have to pretty much address the fact that there's a huge hype. I mean, it's relatively high profile. Like this means you've got the head of content of Line Webtoon, Tom Akel. He's no more at the at the site, and then I mean, apart from like the fact that he's no longer there. I mean, I'm not sure like, how much do you know about like the guy himself?
Okay.
I don't
know we
bring
had
people
that
up to
one conversation on Twitter with him. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely about the contest.
Yeah, he clearly cares about the content creators because he will involve himself with the social media. That takes a lot of restraint to not be a dick, but also takes a lot of it takes a lot of respect and ability to be able to do stuff. Also, he makes the comic back channel that he does with Stanley, like, but he's just been kicked. I mean, look, I don't know why they kicked him.
I mean, we can discuss that a little bit, like, but just remember it's only going to be a speculation because we don't have a statement.
Yeah,
we don't have a statement from Line. We only have like what Tom said to Bleeding Cool, which is a comics reporting website, which is that he doesn't know it was out of the blue, and but he looks forward to other things.
Proud of 3 years, and he seems like a decent guy, and as far as I'm aware, good guy. Like, he makes like it takes some serious cojones to like drop
someone,
not just that. No, it takes some serious cojones to be on social media and be ready to answer questions from people who could easily just be fucking with you and take them seriously. Like, it takes, especially if you're in a position of like hey, Fire Rat, especially if you're in a position that's like a manager or head manager or whatever. It takes some serious cojones.
I think we need to I mean, address the fact that the Line USA team is incredibly small for what they have to do and manage.
Aren't they like 20 people at best?
maybe actually even less. Like, I mean, we've had people who visited the Line USA office telling us that, whoa, their team is like tiny. Was one person pretty much in charge of the whole of Discover. I mean, you do get editorial interns, like, reading, pitching in, and everyone like checking out stuff. But I mean, I think there's only one like lovely member of staff, Jin Kim, who is in charge of the whole of that. Maybe they have hired some other people since.
I will say they constantly are hiring interns. Like, they're the only company I know that is constantly hiring interns. This is not a bad thing, by the way. I'm just pointing out, like, that's how small they are. They have they have the money behind them, but not the numbers. So they end up having to constantly hire interns. We should remember that we're in quite a niche market, and like, not a lot of people are even looking here. I don't think a lot of people even know they exist, so it's not their fault.
I mean, we're reading it. We see numbers. We see the actual like sticker numbers, and we think, oh wow, that's huge and all that. Because our brain can only comprehend a certain amount. And then when you look at the wider scope of things, like outside of Line Webtoon, it is still very much a baby in terms of the USA market.
Yeah, exactly.
And so going back to the fact that they are small, like so small compared to how pervasive Naver webtoon and Naver as a company is in Korea. Like Line or Naver has well, I say baby market, but obviously growth potential is there, but it's still small compared to like how well Naver is known as like a brand and like a company for their services in Korea. And in the USA, apart from maybe the social messaging app, you won't really think about using Line as much. I mean, and maybe the webtoons, like you won't really think about using Line as much. And it's important to remember that the money coming in from all the other services that Line Naver provides is actually going to funding this thing.
Yeah, exactly.
So the comics division. Obviously, they do make. In Korea, they have opportunities for monetization and getting a return on investment because people are looking to adapt things into dramas
Pretty
and
much,
to like other.
Yeah, the biggest problem I think they're having is just adjusting to the current market trend. Korea has two things on us that we don't have when it comes to. I say we like as if I still live in America, but they have two things on us that that will basically make their market much more viable than ours. One, people willing to adapt. Two, a system in which you don't need a credit or debit card to spend money on their website. You know?
Yeah, that. I mean, would you like to elaborate on that for some people who might
if I
not be
remember,
aware of?
the Korean friends I have explained this to me. They have something called an IPIN. I think that's what it's called, an IPIN. Essentially, you can have you technically always have an account. You have an IPIN that's linked to you, and that IPIN is basically what you use to pay for shit and do everything. Like you need your IPIN to order stuff online. And for
you don't use a debit card instead.
I don't think you need a debit card as far as the way they explain it. They basically explain it like you can have money in an account and it's linked to your IPIN. So you just use your IPIN and it will take the money out of your account, making it really easy to buy stuff without thinking too much.
Like I think you go to a convenience store and reload that sort of thing, right?
Something instead like that. I think it's one of those kind of, but
besides going to a bank.
It's a cultural thing for them that it's normal to not need like to give a 12-year-old a bank card. A 12-year-old can take their money, load it on a card, load it on a payment system, and just go online and buy comics, and that's normal for them.
Yes,
we do not have that. It's unfortunate.
Because I mean, back in the day, you would get your pocket money, go to the corner store, buy like a Beano comic, like one of those like penny comics, and that was how you'd spend money on your comics.
Exactly.
Back before webcomics, and yeah, that's making it easier for kids to like pay the poor like authors. I mean, overworked authors.
Yeah, like it's really hard, I think, in our current market. Also, like another problem is lots of them aren't adapt. Okay, Webtoon is the best adapting company right now. They're doing everything they can to adapt as fast as they can, and they're really trying to get the market, get the system of the market done right. Everyone else is just dragging their feet, to be fair. But Webtoon is really trying to they're trying to embrace ad revenue, which we're going to talk about that. I haven't seen a lot
because
on it.
We're going to talk about ads as well, because I think we can't talk about ads without addressing the fact that Webcomics, which is a new, pretty much newer site launched by Sidewalk from I think it's a Hong Kong or China-based company. They have been all over my YouTube.
YouTube? Yeah.
Oh God, dude, yes. I mean,
I haven't gone anywhere without seeing them.
I think I'll be more surprised if anyone who reads webcomics, thank you Google, hasn't had an advert from that Webcomics 365.
I have seen ads for them on Webtoon.
Which is kind of painful.
Yeah, I mean, because I realized one of the main reasons I wasn't seeing ads on my desktop version is because I forgot to whitelist Webtoon on my new ad blocker. So once I whitelisted it, went back to the site, I would see ads for Tapas, but Tapas isn't the competition. I love them. They're not competition. I love them. And sometimes Lehzin, but we just went over war. We remember what I said before. They're dickheads. Cool. Moving on. And then a lot of times, Webcomics. Sometimes Shen. That was very weird, seeing Shen advertising on Webtoon. It's very weird.
Advertising?
Yeah, advertising his website. And his other comic that he puts in Discover, and nobody seems to have found for some reason. Yeah. I say nobody, relatively nobody has found it. But yeah, it's just Those are the big ads I've seen on the site. Those 4 people. And the webcomics one has been following me around like the plague. I can't escape it.
Gosh.
It's everywhere. It's in my. it's in the walls.
I mean, I have ad block for YouTube, but then on the phone version, all bets are off.
Oh my god. Just
yes, and okay, so I think what I mean, they are still very small, but the growth has been quite huge, and people are claiming its traffic is 3 times that of Webtoons. Now, I don't have the numbers to back it up, but I can I can imagine that because they're relatively new. People are all like and they're advertising so aggressively. People are going to want to. I don't know like how whether Line Webtoon was advertising that aggressively.
No, they don't.
In the
Webtoon
past.
has literally only gotten by on name and clout.
Yeah, name alone.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't advertise on YouTube ads and stuff.
They have their own YouTube channel that does actually relatively well, although any content they make to do with their actual company flops, but that's just really normal for most company YouTube channels. You make your content about the thing you're releasing, it does well. You make content about the people who work for you, no one watches it. Just the way it is. But I don't know.
Wow.
It's YouTube, man. I don't know, man. It's just
my main play with Webcomics 365 is that they claim to have like all international support from like people who are pros, but a lot of their translations, even their site itself, is horribly translated.
Yes, thank you.
It's horrible. I don't think webcomics people are listening to it, but if somehow like somebody sends a message to them, please. I'll happily go through and like proof your site for a fee, obviously, because I have a day job and I need to eat. But honestly, though, like you can't just you just launch and all that, and then, but I don't know. Maybe in spite of all that, people will still use it regardless, because people use like Alibaba and Taobao, and they don't even have and then like some of them don't even have like proper English versions, and people get by because there is need. But I just find it really hard to stay immersed in the comics themselves when it's littered with whatever. And then again, right, some people, maybe some readers are a little more shallow that there's images of pretty guys and girls. There's images of pretty guys and girls kissing and doing hanky-panky. That's all I need.
As you said that we didn't have numbers on it, I went onto that website that I used to get numbers on Webtoon because I just figured might as well check. Well, okay, Webtoon is still number 1 for like everything. I can't seem to find any country data on America. It's actually giving me country data on Canada for some reason. I'm gonna just change my country to United States. There. So Webtoon's still number 1. Webcomics is number 2. The traffic is actually trailing. They have fewer users. The only thing that, as you said, the moment they started aggressive marketing was the moment they just took off like a fucking bird. It doesn't mean that they're maintaining people though. Like as it stands, it seems like they grow, they drop. Grow, they drop. So people will go on there, people get interested, people download the app, they care about it, and then they stop touching it. Like even like literally looking at Webtoon rankings on Google Play. So like, because let's just be honest, most people read on their phones. So looking at rankings on Google Play, and it's basically just like webcomics starts advertising. They go up ridiculously in user numbers. They even go up in rank because the user numbers ranks on Google Play. As someone when I was developing apps on Google, like they actually based on how many people own your stuff, and then they go up in ranking and everything. And now they're back down to 530th. Webtoons are like 331st. They use basically my point is just the usage is low. People aren't using them. People are using Webtoon because it's just quality over quantity.
Yeah,
it's unfortunate.
I think
they're not very good.
It is very. I think it's unfortunate for the. I think a lot of the poorly translated ones are actually because they're big in China. I need to have information about the Chinese version of the sites, but I don't know, maybe like they were published like in other places, and Webcomics app has just entered agreements with a bunch of them from different like authors and publishers to publish the translated versions, but they're not really just the choice of like titles really. Like, I mean, the thing is, I should be surprised because I have read some like web serials that are translated from Chinese before, and some of them come up with the weirdest of titles.
Yeah,
But direct,
like,
I mean,
it's because
they're
it's
either
not the
like
weirdest.
yeah.
It's just I think it's a translation issue we're seeing here. You know, it's just like people go in and they go, oh, I want to make a comic, and then they name it in Chinese, and it makes sense in Chinese, and it sounds cool in Chinese, and then reality, it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's painful. I mean, and from what I know, like you can't like go direct, like, you know, one click like easy publishing to
oh no,
to be on the platform like you would be able to in Webtoon. Like you actually have to, I mean, pitch to them and like
Yes,
send
you do.
pictures, and then they will get back to you. And so there's like still a lot of like, you know, a lot of transparency in terms of
oh yeah, there's zero
how these
transparency.
things-
I think I love the fact that I just went onto their Google Play place, and the second comment was, yeah, okay, so what drew me to this app first was that it had a girls love category. It, however, does not. This is false advertising. Honestly, developers, really?
Okay, so now I'm looking at the corporation agency page, which is probably directly translated. It should be like, you know, partners, like partner agencies, corporation agency. Though that's not really.
Basically, the basic premise of this, as we found out, is Webtoon is the only one who's ever actually been mostly honest with us, and Tapas.
Yes.
But that's because Tapas is actually fine. We need to stop fucking victimizing them. Everyone else.
Was Tapas originally Korean or not?
They're originally Korean. If I remember, they are originally Korean. Like, in fact, the office in America is so tiny, it's painful.
No, it's South Korean entrepreneur, but operated from both Seoul and San Francisco. Yes. I think maybe around the same time. Give or take around the same time as maybe like a Line Webtoon. I don't know. Like whenever Line Webtoon Naver Webtoon was established in Korea. Anyway, so I mean, fact of the matter is like Line Webtoon is it just ran it through Google Translate. Line Webtoon is pretty much like facing stiff competition right now, like in the form of this new challenger. And I really hope that people aren't doing like knee-jerk reactions to how Webcomics app, like Webcomics 365, whatever.
Yeah.
They don't have like a set name. It's Webcomics 365 on certain social media platforms, Webcomics app on like their website, and just Webcomics as like the marketing name, which doesn't really, I mean, which I can see is, I mean, a reason like, you know, so you just Google Webcomics and hopefully you
basically
get that.
You're supposed to buy the names of the things that you care about. Like quite often as a company, okay, look. As far as I'm concerned, these guys are flash in the pan full of shit. Nothing about them is important. Like
I wouldn't dismiss them so quickly.
Fair enough, but I've seen this before. Okay, so back in the day, you probably don't remember because you don't use the internet as much as I do, or maybe just because I'm really sad. There used to be this website called Blip.tv.
It's both.
Thank you. There's this website called Blip.tv. I don't know how many people remember Blip.tv. Well, Blip.tv was essentially the new YouTube. They had fewer rules. They were pretty much, they had all the same video hosting ability, but they had better functionality, and they were aggressively advertising on every old forum back in the day, and every old, every old like website that used to do video hosting. They would go to you, they would find you, they would get creators, they would call them in, you know, that kind of thing. They were a big deal. And yeah, I'm younger than she is. But they were a big deal. And then do you know basically how it ended? 2009, 2008, Blip.tv closed its doors. It's gone. I've seen this before, and I see it all the time. Some up and coming twat thinks that big shit. They come into the market, they think that they're the hottest thing in the place. They try to market their way into number one. They don't understand that marketing is useful, but only when you have content. And I can see it fizzling out so quickly, so quickly.
I think we should all probably remember like one of the newest examples in terms of the internet is Vero.
Yes, Vero, which I want everyone to know we have an account on. Follow us, Webcomics Hub.
What the hell?
We have a Vero account. No one knows that we have one but me. I made it because I thought it would be funny. We actually got like 4 viewers through that. It was funny as shit.
Okay, so Vero, right? Like I remember it came up and there was like this huge thing, and now
it's dead.
Who's using it?
No one.
Who's using it?
It came out. Well, I'm sorry, but it came out and said, "Imagine Twitter plus Facebook plus Instagram, and if you're one of the first 1 million people to get it, you get it free. Everyone after 1 million has to pay for it." I'm sorry, they kind of fucked themselves in the foot when they said that. Dromedar rip. Hey, Vile Knight, what's up? How are you? But yeah, like they said, like it's just they came up, they were big, everyone was talking about them, no one would shut up. I said, hey, if it's gonna be big, we might as well get a place there. So I'm gonna just make an account. I'm gonna use it, make one. I posted like 4 things on it, and it was literally 4 ads. This is back when we started. It's actually quite early when we started. Like it still has like old ads on it. Like the really elaborately drawn ads that we used to use. That's what it has on it.
Oh god.
Yeah, that's how old that is.
Okay. Right. So I mean, I think the reason why I addressed like, competition on Webtoon is because obviously people have been speculating on our Discord like possible reasons why you could have been fired. Like they were looking at job performance, and relative to job performance, obviously you talk about like challenges that the company faces. Yeah. So Tom has been like at Line Webtoon for I think pretty much like 3 years, but I think they say he became head of content in 2000. Don't know whether he was doing a different position before then. Like I would have to go and check the news reports.
Yeah, I didn't see.
Yeah, I have to go check the news reports.
Yeah.
Yeah, about like what he was doing there beforehand. And I imagine that with him gone, like in terms of like uploading uploading the comic that he co-creates with Stan Lee, that's got to be handled by someone else, rather than like I write it, I'll upload it, and all that.
Of course,
kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yes, because any creative person worth his salt knows that even if you're a pro editor, when you create something, you still need a second pair of eyes.
Oh, definitely. And also,
you get tunnel vision with that.
It's just so you don't look like a dickhead.
Exactly. Like so facing competition from Webtoon, and some users and comments like articles have mentioned that he wasn't doing his job, or he was not promoting like the right balance of comics on the website. Okay. Well, it's kind of falls on him as head of content. We kind of need to address this because like people have different reasons for coming onto Line Webtoon. Some people come on here because they say, oh, I want to read the official translated versions of Korean webtoons, and because it's official from Line rather than rather than a fan translation, I'm probably gonna get like better quality and an actual consistent upload schedule, rather than like being at the mercy of fan translators who don't know how to typeset, who don't know how to who don't have like a schedule. Yeah. And for that, I completely understand. However, there are fan translators who are, for certain series, being a lot faster. It's just typesetting takes time. That's especially if you got to like you've got to erase and redraw. You won't have the original files when you're like a fan typesetter.
Yeah, exactly. They don't give you the OG stuff, and you'll be lucky if a creator even recognizes that you're helping them do this. Like for the most part, creators do not care. Like it's really sad.
And in addition, right, I have to say the quality of some like fan translations really makes me think that Line should be hiring them rather than their official translators.
Yeah, like okay, so basically, if you want some of the best translators to come and do your work, why are you going to these Go to the people who do freaking manga translations. Go to Scanlators. Those guys are top quality. Most of the time, they are some of the best people for this job. They know how to translate, move, and edit the image perfectly so it doesn't look stupid. They're very good at what they do. I don't know why
Well,
you're using
some better than others in terms of like the cleanup and
Of
redraw,
course, but like the
yeah.
organized groups are really good. Like I'm not gonna say names because then the people are gonna find them, track them down, and take them away. But they're really good people. Like
it's like, you know, if someone hacks like your I mean, if you're an internet like business and someone hacked like
you hire the
your thing,
fucking hacker.
you hire them to, like, you know, white hat hack, like, you protect you against like future like attacks and stuff like that, right?
So yeah, pretty much. You get him. You don't put him in prison. You hire him, and then you also find where he sent all your information, so you don't fucking lose that shit.
Now, people say that, oh, I'm only here for like the Korean content, like the other, like Discover and all that is, I mean, whatever. They don't matter to me, like they don't drive traffic and all that. And I think it's horrible to say that because you might as well just set up like a translation site and not open it up to like creators who want to be noticed, because and I don't think the market, I mean, I don't think it can survive
There's no there's no situation in which your novelty Korean content, Japanese content, whatever, can exist in a vacuum, and there's no situation where any site that caters only to those things will ever be successful as a site. I mean, considering, it's just, I don't see it. I think it's a stupid thing that some really selfish, really simple-minded people say because they don't understand anything.
People say that, oh, because well they're promoting all like the other translated Korean ones, so you know he deserves to get fired. But the Korean content will have its fans. Like obviously, like and for like really like established series like Tower of God and, you know, Dice and all of that, they're there. Like you just you need to make sure like it gets visibility every now and again. But it's underdog creators from America, they don't quite have that sort of thing compared to like Korea. I mean, these series are already really huge in Korea. Like, so I mean, people saying, "Oh, there's totally no promotion for the Korean ones in America."
The fuck do they still need promotion for? They're so big, they come through on their own. We don't need to like advertise them.
I mean, yes. I mean, you should still do, because it is part of the part of like your contractual obligations, course, and like, you know, it doesn't mean abandon them by the wayside.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think people are going like, oh, but in the Indonesian and like Chinese line, they're seeing the Korean content. It's because they don't have that volume of creators, like as much of a volume of like local creators, like to, you know, take on their own flavor. And it will with time. Like Line America in terms of webtoon is a little bit more established than the rest of them, aren't they?
Yeah, they actually are. Overall, I think Line America is. Let
me just double check and see like a timeline of when all
check when they all got set. But I think Line America is older, and also.
Okay, so first launched in Korea as Naver Webtoon. Globally, July 2014. So because Line is known outside of Korea, but not the Naver brand. 2016, XOY
that's
is
the
Japanese market.
Yeah.
Dongman Manhwa in Chinese market. I don't know, when did Indonesia Line launch? Line Webtoon.
I don't know when Indonesia Line launched, but I also do know, like, in these markets that we're talking about, apart from the Japanese market, the other markets are not particularly the most conducive for comic creation. Like
Thai and Indonesia. Okay. Why do we say that about so China's pretty alright, I think.
China's okay, I guess. It's just like these are countries where like even it's not taken seriously if you say you're going to do art for a living. Like even in America, it's barely taken seriously if you say you're going to do art for a living. Like I still know families and people where like you say you're getting any art-based degree and they're like, are you trying to kiss a career away? Like, is that what you want to do? Do you want to work at McDonald's forever? That's like a very big cultural thing in countries like that, where it's not, your kids are expected to go and do engineering. They're not expected to go and, you know, they're expected to come back as an engineer, not an artist. That's what some of these, like in the culture is, at least as far as I'm aware. In Indonesia, I know that one. They want you to either have a really, really high level art degree, like you want to be doing animation and stuff, you know, something that will definitely pay you money.
Well, I think in Korea, because people have started realizing, oh, there are things being being like adapted out of comics, and I think you can't talk about like Line or Naver Webtoon without talking about the fact that the founder said that, oh, the manhwa industry was crashing in the 90s and the 20s, and so people weren't making them, and he theorized, okay, let's put it on the web. It's a lot easier to reach people that way, and let's change the format to scroll type because it's a lot easier to scroll to web pages this way. Yeah. And obviously it does help that they have got different revenue models. Like, I mean, Line America, I don't think it's possible to explore the selling of IP yet, because when people want to adapt like IP, they go for novels. They go for young adult novels.
It's very rarely that they go for anything that's drawn. I think the biggest thing for anything drawn is what?
Marvel DC gets adapted a lot on Netflix, which I can.
But I think the biggest from anything drawn that wasn't from an established company like Marvel or DC was Edge of Tomorrow, which is based on All You Need Is I think it's All You Need Is Kill or something. Live Die Repeat. The stuff it's called Live Die Repeat, Edge of Tomorrow, and I think it has a different name in Japanese.
All You Need Is Kill. It was a light novel though, so that's still mostly text.
Yeah, but the manga came out. Then they decided to make the movie.
Oh yeah,
they found because the manga, they really liked it. To make a movie.
Because I mean, it's probably easier to visualize it that way. I mean, I think, and then you obviously have Ghost in the Shell, it is a dumpster fire.
Yeah. Ghost. Okay. I think that Scarlett Johansson did a perfectly good job being whoever the fuck she was supposed to be at this point.
Yes, but it angered a lot of it alienated a lot of longtime fans. And when you're trying to bank on a lot more longtime fans paying good money to see the movie instead of just new fans of it, then it's kind of painful. So the biggest disadvantage definitely is the fact that not many people are willing to take a chance on adapting IP from that was published on Line Webtoon.
Yeah.
I can see I Love You being adapted into a drama.
That's only because I Love You has very tight writing and a very good creator behind it. By the way, call me.
I would love to see I Love You being adapted as a drama. It really clearly draws from K-drama influences, but without being overly cliche. And
again, that's what I said. It's actually very well written, very well made. I don't know why nobody has bought it yet. In fact, the only there is one thing that was on Webtoon that did get adapted into its own content. It starts with an R. Fuck. Do you remember? It's about real life. Real life? I think it was real life.
Real life is something else entirely. Then it's Japanese.
Is it Japanese? It was on Webtoon. Yeah, it was on Webtoon.
Let's see.
Yeah, and then they go on anime. He's the only Webtoon I know that go on anime.
Webtoon anime adaptation. Let's see. Let adaptation. Let me see if I can find anything on it. Although people have said there are some webtoons that really should be adapted to anime.
I will say.
Noblesse got adapted into anime. Yeah. Oh, Real Life and Nanbaka. Okay, Real Life was web-based. Let me have a look.
It was first released on Webtoon, and I think it got moved maybe because I can't find it on there anymore.
But Real Life was Japanese. I mean, it was Japanese though, so not Line Webtoon.
Yeah, but another Korean one the Korean one on Line Webtoon that did well was so my favorite comic from I'm just forgetting every name in the universe today, aren't I? My favorite comic from Joseok. It's The Sound of Your Heart. It got released as an actual Korean TV drama. One, I've watched it. It's really good. Two, it's doing really well. To be fair, he's the Shen of Korea in that he's been making content for an unreasonably long amount of time, and he's gone past
more than a decade.
Yeah, it's gone past 1,000 chapters. He's got
Yes.
1,000 chapters. One
It's
chapter.
the longest running South Korean webcomic. So let's put it this way. So clearly, the market in Korea and Japan, and also to a certain extent China, like because because this like it's just really easy to like adapt things really quickly from like relatively indie like beginnings.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
well, Japan has like its huge manga industry. Korea's is webtoons because the manhwa industry failed and like it failed-ish, and now like the web is seen as a viable alternative.
Yeah.
China is starting to come up like they're starting to stop doing as much of their own like outsourced work and in animation and doing their own IP and investing into their own IP, which is why you get like which is why you get Quanzi which is that what is it called in English again?
Wait, you mean that anime with the ninjas and the guy who plays video games?
The video game one, yeah.
I know what you're talking about, but I don't remember its name. I know
King's Avatar.
Yeah,
The King's Avatar.
I know the guys who translated that into English. The pirated version. I know the guys who translated the entire thing into English.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the King's Avatar, like so China like Tencent, that's a huge name in China. They make WeChat. They invested
Tencent
money into producing
League of Legends.
Yes, so that too. so there is money in this. What I would love to see someday is actually Netflix taking on some series from Line Webtoon in the future. But to do that, though, you kind of need really compelling like
really compelling
stories online, and I can see why. Why like head of content back then would have brought in like some of the more established like creators who were known for their work on Marvel and everything doing there. Whether you think it should just be Korean underdogs only is another story.
Okay, see, I completely agree with bringing in the mainstream into our market. My favorite
to give it more credibility.
Yeah, my favorite YouTuber Phil DeFranco says that a lot. He's like, you really want the mainstream to embrace your content. Because when they validate you become more real you become more real as a thing. People take your stuff seriously. People want to make stuff surrounding. People care about what you're doing, and I think it's only a matter of time before we see a show or an animation or anything based off of a webtoon. To be quite honest, I know Merriweather already there's a group already doing one based on Merriweather's comic. And that's going,
you mean like some animations?
Yeah. There's a group doing animations based on Internet Chan. That's going swimmingly, but I think it wouldn't be too much to say that some of these could be adapted to actual live action stories, live action things. It will happen. It's gradual. It takes time and I think removing Tom, calling it not even removing Tom. People saying that Tom got removed because he can't balance the content on the front page is a full of shit statement. Like, the people who say that are full of shit. The content is very well balanced.
I think, right, but the thing is, right, we have to address the fact that the Western, like the direct to featured comic series that he's brought in, like you have Caster, you have like the one with Back Channel, and like some of these other like ones with like people who have credits on Marvel and DC.
Yeah, Outrage.
They're not doing as well as the Korean translated stuff. But that doesn't mean that you should only stick to the Korean translated stuff either. People are arguing that you should, like, dude, you should not underestimate weebs. Why cater to like a dying population of of comics readers who only bought like comics back in the day? And I think that's kind of it's really short-sighted.
It's people who refuse to open their minds up to anything. Like, once you start telling me that, if it's not translated, then it's not good, then, how is Shen doing so well? Or how does Safi do so well? Safi's a story about a cat with one eye. Fuck. Like, Lore Olympus does really good, makes really good content. The stuff that
it's not anime.
Yeah. The stuff that came direct to featured is a bit darker. It's a bit more serious. They deal with more adult topics. They're trying to tell bigger stories. It's Webtoon trying to cater to the adult audience. They're trying to get
who have people, money.
Yeah, who have money. Remember, they have the money. Okay, kids don't have money. Adults have money. But trying to cater to the adult population to make them care about it. And it's not bad content. It's well-made content. You just need to give it a chance. Like, all of the content that we talked about, all of the adult stuff, Caster, Shadow Pirates, Outrage, fucking Back Channel, Finality, I don't know how you'd say it. They all have a 9.3 rating and above.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get your people reading your stuff giving you a 9 rating unless you're doing very well. Like, I'm gonna say this, even on Ordinary with its 9.8 rating, it must be doing something right that people are willing to give it 9.8. Saying the channel should only the site should only be underdogs, or the site should only be Korean stuff, is incredibly short-sighted and not accepting the fact that there are multiple layers to this content. There are layers to this kind of content. You've got to be able to like help people, to get people who like, you know, who are already reading standard comics into your stuff. You got to get people who haven't read a comic before into your stuff. You got to get adults into it. You got to also get kids into it. Let's be honest, kids literally power the internet. You got to get all these different groups of people in to care about different types of content. And the way he's doing it, pulling in more horror genre stuff. I remember when we started this, and I said it. I think I said it to you, Kaz, before I was even on the show. I said it to you. I said, there is not enough horror on Webtoon. And you were like, yeah, there isn't actually. There's not enough featured horror on Webtoon. Now there is an actual selection, which I'm not saying they're the best, but they do the job. They do what they need to. There's an actual good selection of superhero stuff now that isn't just unordinary.
I think the existing crowd who are, you know, raising hell about it, they forget to realize that it's not that Webtoon is totally not producing or featuring the stuff that they came originally for. It's still there. Just because a store decides to add something to the lineup doesn't mean that the original stuff that you went to the store for no longer exists. Exactly. Like, people just think of it as a zero-sum game. Like, obviously because they're newer, they need to push like the newer content more. The older stuff is doing well. It's got its loyal reader base. They've as long as they don't fuck it up, they'll still be fine.
They don't fuck it up. They'll still be, yeah, you're right. As long as they don't fuck it up, they'll still be 100% fine. It's very rare when she swears, and I always think it's really funny.
Well, because when I do the show, my parents are listening in as well, and my
hello actually parents of Kaz.
They can't hear you. I'm on headset.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, so it really frustrates me that you have at least one vocal member on the Discord, and also, I think it's the same person also going around on the articles as well elsewhere, and commenting this that he deserved it. I think, and you and I both agree, it's kind of short-sighted. I mean, I can understand why people would feel that way, but it's not good for the. It may seem like it's the right thing for the short term, but it's not thinking about the long term at all. And I think it was kind of a huge mistake. Like this person was going around and saying, well, finally, finally Tower of God got like a Facebook promo after Tom left. So, you know, about time they got one.
Tower of God doesn't need another fucking promo. Tower of God has been going on too fucking long. But more, see, I've already pissed off a good group of people. I might as well go all in. But more to the point, Tower of God doesn't need more. Like, comics like Tower of God have a really big, really loyal fan base. They don't need more people. People who care about this stuff will come back and read this stuff. Much like with most...
As long as they don't mess it up.
Yeah, as long as they don't mess it up. As long as Tower of God manages to make its story seemingly coherent to the rabid animals that read it. I'm one of them. We are rabid animals. Because how are we reading this shit? It's terrifying, and it's. I get confused about who the main character is at least twice a day. But it's just, as long as they keep doing what they do, we are not going to stop reading them. So why do they have to market it again? Like, yeah, people need to. It
doesn't mean that you're ignoring it. Like, it doesn't have to be marketed as aggressively anymore.
Exactly. Like, people need to find the content. But remember, like, this content isn't the only content, and most people aren't into the content you like. Like, it's an unfortunate reality, but most people don't like what you like. It's just it's a given. Most people do not like what you specifically like. You know, a lot of people can like it, but most people won't. So you just have to get over it. Like, we should even be more surprised that, like, the Korean stuff is doing as well as it does. Because in markets like America and the UK, They don't give a shit about things that aren't from America and the UK. It's not very common to like that kind of crap.
You think it is because, like, you know, you go to Comic Cons and you see so many people like you, but I think the brain can't comprehend in a wider scope of things.
Yeah.
It's actually still almost like only a few drops in the ocean.
Remember, Comic Con is just weebs.
Yes.
It's weebs. Yeah.
Even within like people, the population who enjoys like general population who enjoys Western comics, if it wasn't for the fact that they got like mainstream adaptations on Netflix or like, you know, the big screen, do you think like you'd get as many people like being interested in like the franchises, the characters, and stuff like that?
Exactly. How often do you see someone showing up to fucking Comic-Con in Yu Yu Hakusho, what do you call it, gear? No one does that because it's not that interesting to the market. People prefer Captain America. I know. So I said that mostly because I know someone's listening that's gonna text me in about 2 hours and be like, "Oh, how dare you?"
You just It's that's why I think it's really sad that Tom got removed. Like if it was for these reasons, I mean the only other thing I can think of, and I dare not like spend too long on this, is, you know, some internal like conflict / gross misconduct that, because
whatever happened inside those walls are things we will never truly know, and I hope it wasn't a bad thing, and that's all I think anyone can ask.
Yes, we only had a public statement that was like, I don't know why it was removed. Like it was, I mean, and it was, I didn't see it coming and stuff like that, and I don't know if Line will put out a statement themselves, like if anyone else will. The authors sadly only know just as much as we do. The only thing they had was like notification via email that, you know, he was being let go. And I mean, I obtained this like information under condition of anonymity, so I'm not going to say like where it comes from. I just know that these people were directly being edited by Tom, and you also remember that Tom was the one who was organizing and chairing and like, you know, being guests on panels for Comic Cons. Yeah. So on top of having to edit like the comics that still get updated during con season,
basically Tom was doing a fuck ton of shit.
30 series. My
man was on top of his shit. Like, he was... People think Kenny does a lot. Tom was doing a lot.
I mean, I get that. I get that, like, you know, some people don't need as much, like, checking over by the Line Webtoon staff in terms of editing. Like, editing is also, like, you know, in the same way, it is management. Some people maybe have their own staff to, like, help keep them on track, and they may have their own editorial team that before they even got picked up by Line, and all the editor has to do is just make sure that the content is submitted on time, like just progress checks, or like manage if someone says like, oh, I'm not going to be able to make this week's episode, and like, you know, do the necessary. For some it's just like, you know, a little bit of mild logistics work and uploading. For others, you might need to be a bit more involved because this is the first ever, like, you know, editor they've had. Like, they may not be doing this on their own. They don't have like guidance. They may need guidance from you. Yes, for those people, you get a bit more involved. And trying to manage like some of the other, and like everything in between is... I mean, I managed like 2 people somewhat extensively, and the only reason I'm not like dying is because like they work on a lot of other things, and if they were working on their thing full time, I would also like be considering like upping like what my involvement. It's the reason why I can like still have time for like myself to go and like learn, check like my other, like learn about other things for well, I don't know about that. But yeah, I think it's also, I also think like, I also just think like it's important to remember that he did do a lot. People may disagree with how he did it. Like, maybe disagree and say like it's whatever. That he should have done this, he should have done that. But I think people also don't realize enough about the wider market that they're in and the reality of things, as it were. It's easy to say that weebs are all powerful, weebs have a lot of spending power, but
yeah.
There is also one thing I want to cover, and that is comment, like, internet comment leaving culture, because a lot of older readers don't actually take the time to like leave comments on things.
Yeah, okay. Like, I don't blame them. Okay, at some point, I don't leave a lot of comments. Very rarely do I leave comments. My comments are 80% just criticism, and it's not bad. It's not like anyone's bad. It's just like, oh, I think this would be better if you did that. But hey, you do you. Maybe try something different. That kind of thing, right? Those are most of my comments. I'm not a very big commenter. Like, I don't know about the creators who are watching. Tell me if you get like a lot of good comments, a lot of bad comments. You even get a lot of comments, even though people like what you're making. But as far as I'm aware, it's just commenting isn't a thing people do. Like, they just like it. They go. They like your work. They don't really have anything extravagant to say to you, and it always feels like I'm kissing ass if I'm just like, I really like your work. Again, like, I've only commented like that to 3 people. One of them.
On the other hand, comment culture in other countries like in net communities are a lot different. Korea in particular, obviously, some you have like immature netizens and all that, but Korea's netizens are more likely to like say whatever. Look at how they treat K-pop artists all the time.
Oh my god.
It's much more vocal, web space, and I think to a certain extent it is a more the sample size of whatever comments you're getting is more representative of the wider population compared to the people who are commenting on line webtoon series. They're not necessarily representative of the population that's reading your comic.
Yeah, that's quite true actually.
From personal experience, right?
Yeah.
Some of my authors have. one of my authors have said that the people who went up to him and pre-ordered his book, volume 1. I hope if you're watching this, please get on your work. But yeah, I understand you have a lot to do. The people who pre-ordered his book, they were clearly not the kind of people to leave comments as well.
They just really liked what he made.
Yeah, they were just silently supported, liked, and whatever, and they just came. They didn't even comment like, we're coming to see you at your thing. Yeah. They just came.
He just showed up and he was like, who the fuck are you?
No, not like that. Not who the fuck are you. It's
obviously,
like, oh, wow.
But
it was a pleasant surprise.
Yeah.
It's a pleasant surprise, but I think people kind of like fail to take that into account in terms of common culture. And just because, fine, there are some points when if the general feel is negative, yes, maybe you might have to look at something. But just look at how people reacted to Merryweather when he was talking about doing stretch goals and trying to fund the next season of My Succubus Girlfriend.
Yeah.
And people were like, well, why do you need more money? You're just begging for more, and it's not like you even it's not like even that worth it and stuff like that. But other people, they don't comment. They just quietly pledge them out anyway.
Yeah, they just went and gave him money, which, you know what? Fuck it. Yeah. But it just when you don't say any, this is the problem, right? I think in Western culture, creation of anything, YouTube is a very good one for that. When you make content, just any content, a very good amount of people to say will be commenting on your work is about 10% of your user base. 10% of your viewer base, 10% of your reader base, 10% of your whatever base will comment. Even when we have, it's like, think of it even when we have 100 people on stream, only 10 to 15 people are talking.
Obviously.
Yeah, just imagine that. That's just all the time. That's on almost everything. So only 10% of your group will talk, unless you've got the most loyal group of people who all only are there for you. Only 10% of them will ever really say anything. If they have a negative or positive view to you, if there's a dislike button, they'll click it. That's it. Once the interaction goes beyond those two things, they just go, what's the fucking point? Why am I commenting? I don't have anything to say. I just don't like what you're doing. Or I do like it. Especially
if it opens the door for them to get responses and potentially to their minds get attacked when people have the right to disagree with you anyway. So people don't really want to subject themselves to that. So that is why a lot of their interactions just stay at the dislike, or I quietly give you money or not, or just quietly stop subscribing.
Exactly.
And in an ideal world, yes, you want people to stay engaged and actually take the time to leave comments. Makes you feel like you're doing something right if they're leaving long thought out comments like they do on some of the featured series. But we have to appreciate that not everyone is able to do that, depending on whether your reader base is like hugely young or not.
Yes.
Or like because older ones aren't going to have enough time. You're making comics for busy people, like to be read on a phone, like
Oh my god.
and binge through and all that. So what do you expect as well?
It's just it's just believe in your fan base. If you really want comments, ask for them. There is no shame in asking for comments, really, because it's just let them know.
Call to action, basically.
Yeah, just lets them know that you basically just want to know what's up, because you want to know that they're good. That's it. Comments are left by the most outraged or most overjoyed members of your fan base, and that's just really normal.
Yes.
And I guess I don't really know. Like, it's just what it is. Like, people
who talk before they think.
Yeah, people who talk before they think. Oh yeah, that's a lot of people. Oh god. There's just, I don't know. Just believe in your content more. Don't let listen to the positive comments. They're mostly the ones that you should care about, as long as they're not kissing ass, at least. And Arizan, I know you like your ass getting kissed, but we're not doing this today. We're not doing this, boy.
You'd have to pay Nen like a lot more to get that.
Like, you'd have to donate.
Get even like the lightest of butterfly kisses
you
of your
have to
arse.
donate at least $20 to our Patreon. Did you know we have one?
Speaking of which, like, even I find it like I'm getting a headache trying to think of like, I mean, whether I should like start monetizing like our potential like advice, like exclusives or something like that. Because I think some of the stuff we've discussed in here, apart from just being in a podcast, I think it deserves a write up in some form. And I've been toying with the idea.
People for it. Like, I'm just saying, I don't know who's gonna pay, but if you do pay, also remember our Twitter. You can follow us there.
Yes.
GTX 90 Ti.
I think I might consider like writing up a little bit what we discussed in terms of like the market and like where Line Webtoon goes from here. Plus, I mean, like monetizing and comments basically. But
considering our site is going to be finished soon, which we have a site. It's coming soon. We also have a bunch of really cool business emails. They sound really nice. I made 3. Did I tell you I made 3? I mean, I was really bored.
Did you make me one? Did you make me one?
I made one for you, but you didn't. I didn't know if you wanted it, so I haven't given it to you yet. But you have an email. I have an email.
Yeah, I mean, maybe if like, you know, alongside with the Hubcast, I can actually write ups for
sure. Like the guy who was building my
topic.
The guy who's building the website was just like, I want to make it so you can do blog posts. I was like, why? That could have cost so much. Like, I'm not charging it. I was like, fuck it.
So I mean, you know, because you know how Eat Your Kimchi, like they upload a video, and if you see you also get to see the video YouTube embed on their site, but they have like other like stuff in like the blog post before, which doesn't go into the video description.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't mind us doing those. Well, it's like they want their email back. Well, okay then, Ara. Fucking.
Okay. Yeah, so, but yeah, I guess you guys heard it here first. Like, lots of cool things coming up for Webcomics Hubcast soon.
Yes, as soon as I figure out how to use a camera.
It's just a damn shame that the both of us have, like, you know, full-time things that, that, you know, necessitate our attention. Like, you have a degree to earn, my job doesn't do itself, and I need to eat.
You have to make sure those old people don't hurt themselves.
Something like that, yes.
There was only once Kaz told me about one event for old people, and I have never stopped using it. As if I know what her actual job is, by the way. I know.
Yeah.
I still say this. I'm not a bad friend, I swear.
Yes. Yeah, so I guess general summary of things, webtoon contest, like category winners are pretty lit, and there's lots to look forward to.
Check out those
Legend contest. Yeah.
Check out those people who capitulated to superior force. They're actually still good. Like, I'm just gonna say.
Legend contest on the fence about.
No, just don't do it.
I'm on the fence because, like, I think if you whatever makes you like whatever makes it possible for you to get your comic out there, and if they end up like, you know, you can adhere to the conditions, they treat you well, then all the better for you. And Tom Akel's firing, think a lot of people are missing the point
Yeah, they are.
of what he was doing, why he was doing what he was doing.
Tommy seems decent enough to me. Don't be a dick to Tom.
I mean, I can understand that it might feel that the underdog creators aren't getting enough, but I think, it's just like a disagreement in terms of strategy that I don't think it deserved a full-on drop. Well, basically, we will keep our eyes peeled for other news, and
I'm gonna email him and be like, "Hey, now that you've been fired, do you want to talk to us? If I get Tom Akel, you have to." If I get tobacco, somebody has to pledge at least $5, because fuck, that's gonna be difficult.
Tom has appeared on other podcasts before,
yeah,
but I think these
if
people
I
are
get
a
him
little
to
bit
come
more
here to
highbrow than we
talk
are.
about him getting fired, nothing else, just that, I deserve a prize for that. All right.
I kind of think that it might be a little bit difficult because you kind of have to you have to broach the subject a little bit more delicately, and
I'm going to approach it delicately.
I mean, not many people might want to like.
Am I not a delicate man?
I question that. Plus, I mean, sometimes it's considered like bad form to speak out a lot against your former employer as well. So we have to bear that in mind. But
of course,
if someone mentions like this show to Tom and the fact that we've covered,
I more actually want to just know company, like what kind of company it was, the kind of company culture they had,
yes,
the kind of ship he was thinking of running, what his plan was, how that was, how he thought that would work out, like, because no matter how whatever reason he got fired for, I personally like. I'm making it. I was joking before, but I personally don't care. I only care about the kind of job he thought he was trying to do, and how he was planning to go forward with it. Because honestly, it's quite an interesting thing to understand the mind of a person in charge of so much.
Yes.
In a company that was actually much bigger than it looked. Yeah.
It was big in ways and it was tiny in ways.
Yeah.
It was really a bit of an enigma.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not very often you see companies that are like, I have 1 million readers a day. I have 12 members of staff.
Yeah.
It's a rare thing. Yeah, none of you thought I was going to say some smart shit, did you? You thought it was all going to be memes. Ha! Got you.
Well done, then. Well done. We were, yes. Did you like a gold star?
Yes, I would like a gold star.
There. I will give head pats as well, virtually. But yeah, whether they have NDAs or not, we really don't know. I think that's also a hard thing, isn't it? Like, how much should be transparent in how these things are run? Like, how much do the creators deserve to know, and like, how much do they not? But,
I think everyone deserves to know as much as possible, within limit, that isn't going to negatively affect the company.
Yes.
Because as a company, it's still got stock to trade, and it can't trade stock if you start bad-mouthing it. So that's why I'm completely against calling them out. Some saying some shit, saying that they were dick. I don't know. I just want to know, what was your plan? What kind of guy you are? Where are you going with this? How did you get Stanley? Can I get Stanley?
I'm gonna say it here first though. Like, if their decision is to just continue focusing on the on the Korean translated the translated webtoons from Korea, plus only the underdogs from Discover, I wouldn't be surprised if the best case scenario for that is they still achieve what they're known for, what they're usually known for with a local flavor, just that it takes too long. But worst case scenario, they close shop. I really hope it doesn't come to that. I think like, because they don't have the funding like models of Korean like webtoon, which is like, adaptations for things like that. Right now, it's gonna be hard. And that's why I think bringing big names in was a
good idea.
It was
yes, a very good validation scheme. Because honestly, I do know people who did come in for Outrage, who came up for Outrage, and they read other things now. So Netflix, right? If you were talking about adaptations, and in terms of media, like I said, the first thing I think of is Netflix. Yeah, Netflix because is the only company that's going to be willing to take that kind of chance. To be quite honest, they took a chance on Castlevania. and that went well for them. And I think they can take a chance on some really good products of the Webtoon. It won't be the things you think, though. I don't think they will take a chance on Unordinary or anything like that. But it will be things like there's one called Adamsville, which I've seen, which I thought looked pretty cool. I haven't properly checked it out. It won't be the things you expect, but there will be things on there that I think will be the thing that will save and keep the industry that we all clearly care about afloat.
Yeah, and make people in America start thinking, hey, let's not just adapt the big name comics. There is money to be made, and not just like those like young adult novels for the big screen. Especially like if these become like TV series and all that.
I think there's also a very good room for people who are aspiring filmmakers, who make stuff on YouTube a lot. People really discount people who make videos on YouTube, and they think it's not a big deal. But like, I need to remind you that Rocket Jump is a thing, and Rocket Jump got Video Game High School to be one of the biggest things in America around the time when we started, around like what, 2013, 14?
Like, Fire Rat is saying they're not sure about that. Like, what are you not sure about? Would you like to elaborate? Yeah.
Hello.
Minnie's late. She's missed the bulk of like when we were talking about.
We talked about you. We said that you were cool.
Yeah, right. We mostly talked. Yeah, I was kind of worried. But we did talk about mostly these. I mean, most of the stuff about the Akel firing. We did talk shit like Iron Fist gets cancelled. Yeah, it's true. Like, I mean, I think that one is also pretty much a bit of a chance. But
I'm gonna point out Iron Fist is boring garbage.
It really depends on what team you get with it.
I mean, like,
it really is.
Hey, Carrie, baby, mwah, love you. But
I'm not sure a Webtoon can hold up right now. It really depends. Like, Netflix produces a lot of things that are more dead certs in, like, getting money. Slightly more dead certs than others, depending on who you get on staff. Two, make sure they can invest in the smaller, like, experimental projects.
I want to see where R3 is going with this, because they're making a point. No.
Yeah. No. This is different. We're not talking about. We're talking about adaptations. For like Netflix and stuff like that.
We're not talking about like, the Ackelman. We're talking about.
We're talking about like business models. Because like we said earlier, Minhui, in Korea, you get like things being adapted to dramas and all that from Webtoon, but we don't have that yet for webcomics in the West.
It's a big. I mean, like, I can see what you mean. Like, the reach isn't wide enough that somebody who wants to make a film will probably find it in time. I sort of disagree, but I also mean, like, they can just reach out. There is never a thing such as being too desperate when it comes to trying to get your market share out there. Unordinary would never be a Netflix original because Netflix likes to make good content. But it's like video game movies. Okay, I know what you're trying to say now. I think I know what you're trying to say now. And the problem that I think you're coming from is the shallowness of the of the narrative. Yeah, I had no doubt. The shallowness of the narrative tends to make the movies and the films and the animation or whatever just tank. You are completely correct. That does happen. But
by the way, consumers are getting more discerning when it comes to Korean TV dramas, China TV dramas. Like, it's nostalgia remakes are not enough to hold them anymore. Like, I think there
is a good market of stuff that they can make. It takes quite a lot of. I think what you're looking at there is you're looking at video game movies and stuff like that tend to be actually made by the company who owns the rights to the game, but stuff like, for example, All You Need Is Kill, which I told you got made into, it got made into the movie Edge of Tomorrow. They took the basic concept of All You Need Is Kill, and they pretty much burned the rest of it. Like, there are some iconic scenes that are just ripped from the manga, straight up. But quite a lot of it is original new stuff that they added in. It's just the concept is what they took. Iron Fist's problem is a bigger problem, and it's a Marvel problem, and it's something that I can't talk about. Oh my god!
Sorry about
chicken
that.
nugget! I swear to God.
Sorry about the dogs. They are
God, chicken
really
nugget.
agitated.
I will eat that dog.
No, it's actually Jewel who's barking.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is though, at least for Webtoon, the growth potential is there.
Yeah.
And I think down the line, people will start thinking seriously about adapting it. Wait, sorry, just give me one moment.
Yeah, you go take that. I'll just talk. I get your point that the market is quite small. I will say that the difference between Iron Fist and a Webtoon is Iron Fist is mystical. Okay, this is the thing I didn't want to talk about, but I might as well hit it. Iron Fist is mystical, magical, mumbo jumbo stuff. That is pretty much a Marvel staple. Lots of Marvel stuff are mystical, magical, big, and story wise, the actual shows that they bring out based on it tend to miss quite a lot of the important bits of it. The magical, the weird components of it. They like to go for more realistic things. A very big, and it's usually because they want to appease fanboys but not upset them. Webtoon has a very good advantage of being.
It really is difficult.
Yeah. Webtoon has an advantage of being so small, as you said, less than 1% of America probably uses it actually, about being so small that like they can take Lookism and just like change the story if they really wanted to, and it would still it would do its thing. It would do the round. They could pretty much swap story around, and who's gonna complain? What, the 1% of viewers? No, people would go for the good story based on the original concept. You know. It's an original concept, being able to swap bodies with someone who was good looking. So it's also an original concept to look at most of the stuff here, or Lore Olympus. It's actually a very original concept, a retelling of. Although it's still just a retelling of Greek mythology. It's doing it in a way that I don't think I've ever actually seen. Maybe you have. Maybe I'm just uneducated. Or like Newman, which is a very good fantasy comic written in a very strange, very good Is it low fantasy, soft? I don't remember, but fantasy comic written in a very strange way. These things can all be animated, can all be adapted to very good animations, very good stories. While it can pretty much drop most of it, they don't think it works with film, and make something different because the audience is so small that the lashback isn't going to be anything to worry about. All they need to worry about is taking a good concept and making a good story from it.
I think creative work is just difficult in general, and I would really hate to think that if Korea is hoping to replicate the same success with the exact same formula, when you've got a market that is different and conditions with other potential stakeholders, as in production companies, that is different, it's not going to work. The appetite for shallow dramas isn't as high these days in America. It's not even high in China anymore. Like I said, people readapted Hana Yori Dango into a remake of Meteor Garden, which did well for its time back in the early noughties, but the remake is being panned because it's really it's just really someday my prince will come kind of sit there and not actually up there.
I don't think it has
in the
weight
West
of Marvel.
Not yet. It really doesn't.
Does
not right now.
But I think that's the thing. It's kind of like when you don't have weight to just make garbage appeal to everyone, because Webtoon isn't a cultural. Webtoon is all Webtoons are made by people who live in the country they're in. To be quite honest, a lot of Webtoons in America are made by people who live in America. But when it comes to the content like that, getting pushed into a more mainstream format, like a TV show or a movie or whatever, it's very easy for them to come in with something that's good rather than them to come in with "we are Webtoon." Who the fuck is Webtoon? But if you have good content and you show it off and you shop around a good script, which is a very big part of film, I had to do this for a little while, but I did this for a little while as a student. But shopping around scripts is the most important part. No one actually cares where your concept is from, quite often, until you get to you're trying to compare huge shows that get cancelled to.
Or
Oh,
it's a small niche
small
shows that are
shows
trying
get
to.
success. Like huge shows get cancelled because they run around with a lot of money, but they don't know what they're doing with it. Small niche shows that try to get successful usually are like, at least for me, the ones I see, there are a lot of successful ones because they have good story. It's the important part. They don't have the money, but they have good story. Like on YouTube, there's Cobra Kai, which I know I'm probably the only one here that's watched Cobra Kai because I have YouTube Premium, which I had for a month for free, and I watched it. Cobra Kai is like a continuation of Karate Kid. Everything in that show is really bad. Like the acting is really bad. Everything's really bad. It's somehow still one of the best things I watched in a long time. But it's just
by the way, yeah, sorry.
There's just like, the show can be indie and small and have as long as it has a good story, a good format, it will do well. It will get
if you have people who come back and keep paying for it.
Exactly.
Even in art as well. You don't need to be like hugely known to earn money. It's not always an indicator that you earn money. In fact, I think like a lot of artists like have a lot of like followers and stuff, but they're not being able to translate it into earning potential. You can say, the bigger the sample size, the more likely it is you will find someone who will pay, but it's it doesn't always work out like that. I don't think with Webtoons market alone they could be successful globally if they just pick up and discover.
I can't say that
not with ad revenue alone. We were talking and you missed it about the fact that the reason Korea is successful with Webtoon is because they not as much money comes from ads.
Yeah, most of
the big money comes in from
it's a culture.
Like, the bigger money comes from like adaptations.
Like they would probably do a lot better if they had a method of delivering cash to like an immediate payment system. Like if they could get people to deliver cash in an immediate payment system, they could then go from directly into the application. That it could also take away, like it has to be a very flexible payment system. But if they could do it in a physical
tip the artist, make it easy to tip the artist.
Exactly. Once you make it easy, that this like I think it just becomes something that just flows out and into an easy system. Let me see what you're saying. Because they make money in terms like that. It's successful hit. Are they trying to get Marvel level? I highly doubt they're trying to get Marvel level. By the way, Fire At, they're trying to be more. I think they're more going for the
Korean standard of like
you just need to do well. You just need to do fine. Like Castlevania is in Marvel level. The Castlevania TV series, or in fact, like for an even easier TV series that wasn't doing very well at the start, Always Sunny in Philadelphia is in Marvel level, but it gained its following. It grew slowly. It got bigger. Did well. All you need to do is gain your following of people that will like your work, almost no matter what you do. Once you get
and pay for it.
Exactly, and pay for it. Once you get that base, then you move to the next group of people who will then like it because other people like it, and they'll start watching and they'll start going on. Being sustainable is more important to them than being Marvel level. I don't think anybody wants to be Marvel level. Like they want to be.
Marvel is suffering, and so speaking of Marvel, one of my biggest like bugbears was people commenting, why bring in like Marvel and DC people? Because Marvel and DC have their own websites. They can post the webcomics on there, and people are forgetting that
websites are failing.
These are not Marvel and DC IPs.
Yeah. Also, I should point out, Marvel and DC websites are failing like really badly.
So, yeah, I think. So are we saying that, if people say the definition of success, are we saying that either Line Webtoon's definition of success from Korea HQ didn't match up with that of Tom's, or they don't know what their definition of like success in terms of goals were?
I think what I'm seeing here is it's a mixture of two things. It's a mixture of both. It's a mixture of, I don't know what the definition of success would be in this market, but it's not the success that I want right now. It's not the success that I was expecting.
I don't know what I want, but this isn't it.
Exactly. It's pretty much like a child realizing they don't know what they want to eat, but they know they don't want to eat sprouts. It's just, that's it. That's it. It's like, I think the problem is the child just hasn't realized that maybe sprouts are fine because later you get ice cream.
Yeah, I think it's relatively uncharted territory for some, and like for I don't know if the reader base is mature enough, and those like the vocal reader base is mature enough to realize it, and not as many people. And also not as many people who are aware of like the realities of like working in comics, in creative production, and the like.
And I think another big thing is just no one talks about it to their fans. People who read your
Yeah.
work, you never.
Wait. What? You? Yeah. Sorry. Go on.
Yeah. So I just noticed that lots of creators don't really tell people, "Hey, I need money to keep making shit."
Yeah.
Like,
oh,
it's a big deal that Mary said he needed money. It's a big deal that he said that.
The backlash was still relatively huge. Okay.
But he stood by it, and I massively respect him for that. 2, it's actual evidence of the fact that in the culture we don't really talk about the fact that things cost money and time to make, and it's unfortunate, but they kind of have to talk about the fact that they need the cash. It's just what you have to do.
At least you get to decide how much rather than like a comic book.
So like instead of people like hiding, I think that's just the thing. It's just the amount of disclosure of like the fact that we need cash. We need that cash money. Just say it to your fans. Be honest with your situation, because like.
But apparently it's like a bad thing. Like
it's not. You're not
doing it.
You're making content.
Gosh.
You're making content. It is completely within your right to ask. It's completely within your right to promote your shit. Promote your shit. I notice a lot of creators don't promote their shit. Like one of my favorite creators ever, Farnot, who used to make Asleep Beside You, didn't promote any of her what do you call it? Any of her shit. Any of her Twitter, her Facebook, her Instagram, anything. She had all of them, by the way. Didn't promote any of them.
By the way, yeah.
It's just I don't know.
I need to address like the comment that Minhui was saying about the performance isn't doing like the performance isn't great for some of these like okay, by the way, don't say paid featured because all comics paid. Yeah. You mean like those direct to feature ones that came from like Marvel and DC alumni. So those those ones aren't if you look at the numbers alone, they don't look like they're doing well compared to the more like mainstream the other ones on like on Webtoon featured. Now Nen and I have addressed the fact that the younger ones the younger ones on the site who originally like came on, the early adopters of Webtoon, like who came on for like they don't have money. Adults who want more mature content are coming onto Webtoon for like these like paid like series. They have money, and if you want your site to survive, you want your authors to survive, you have to like cater to that.
You got to get that cash money.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, a lot of these ratings that are low, my guess is they are coming from the youngsters who are like, this isn't what I came onto the site for.
This isn't lookism. I thought this was lookism. No, that's me being condescending, but it is true. Like, I think the thing is, despite what we say, all the invites, like, for the most part, end up with, like, I think the lowest I've seen an invite is 6, a rating of 6, and that was Red Hook.
Which one was that?
Red Hook.
Oh, yeah.
But that's because Red Hook has a lot of problems. But most of the invites, like especially the Stan Lee invites, the newer invites, all of them are averaging 9 ratings because they're good content. You don't get a 9 rating for nothing. Like, no matter how much you want to keep a high rating, you don't get a 9 rating unless you're decent, at least. They want to, you're like when you make it's when you make a content place like this, the YouTube of comics for the internet. You do have to cater to everyone in some way.
And I think the fan base that are saying, "Oh, you should have focused on the Korean ones only," is too short-sighted.
I think it's just people who refuse to give them a reason. Yeah, no, they are. Nice to me is that a lot of the other reasons don't comment. Yeah.
Yes,
we were talking about that.
We addressed that.
Yeah,
we addressed that.
No one let's just that because they just like what you make. And like nobody wants to comment when they like what you make. It's like it feels like kissing ass.
We've actually been like talking the show for like but at least half of it is just basically surrounding Tom Akel firing and where does Webtoon go from here. They support with their wallets and their views exactly. And I think like people who make the decisions up top, it's easy or like even creators themselves who only have certain metrics to look at. They only see this, and it can be a bit of a knee-jerk reaction without considering the wider market.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think
I think is sad.
I think I'm gonna, and this is what I was trying basically getting to. It's just like creators, you need to encourage your readers to comment. Encourage them. It's never a bad thing. Find excuses to make them comment. Like Shen used to do it really well back in the day. He used to do a reading of all a couple comments he'd get. I'd just talk about that. That was a pretty good way of doing it. Find excuses to read to make your commenters to talk, because the more they talk, the more you actually understand your own user base. It's really useful to you, but also the more Webtoon and companies can understand what's going on down on our level. Tell them the honest truth. Be genuine about the fact that, you know,
you like reading comments.
Not just that. Also, like, making comics takes time, and sometimes you need that cash money. No one's saying there's anything wrong with needing that cash money. Okay, like, it's okay to just say, "Hey, guys, I know you like reading this. I hope you enjoy it. Please consider donating some of that cash money." Cash.
And it will be easier, like, if if there was a way to like do it besides Patreon, but we discussed that it's a lot easier to do in Korea than when we say interaction is important. Yes, we I think but the thing is, when half your comments are repeating the same thing over and over, it's really hard to keep keep interacting with that.
You really got to encourage people to talk. It's okay to do it. Like, just be like, "Hey, if you comment down below, the next person in the next show gets a shout out." Just stop making it. It's okay to be it. YouTube is a very good platform to copy for this. You know, you can talk to people about and be like, "Hey, like, okay, the first person to comment, first comment will always get put up at the end of the next comic." That's a really good reason for people to comment. You know, your loyal fans would want that. You know,
best comment and stuff like that.
You're like, you know, have your own notification squad, people who show up right as soon as it comes. You know, encourage people to do it by asking questions.
Ask simple questions to your audience.
Just be like, "Do you like cats or dogs?" Yeah, that's good enough. If you write a political comic, I know there's a couple of them. Ask questions about politics. You know, encourage discourse, encourage conversation, because honestly, without conversation, encouraging discourse, you have no idea whether or not reply to them. That's a really good one. Reply.
I think replying, right? I would prefer to reply to people who take the time to like leave like in the nice ones and the nice ones that are also the well thought out ones.
Like, just, you know, readers are people. You got to engage them in conversation in some way to make them interesting. Like, you just have to.
But yeah, I get it's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work, and I'm not saying like you not doing it means you're not a good creator or anything. I'm just saying you can make yourself happier. You can make yourself more aware of your audience by just really being genuine and just being, "Hey, guys, so about that Mets game last week." You know, like, just ask a question, talk to them, go into the comments, be known as the person who talks to them. Like, when I was writing Val was gonna end soon. When I was writing Val, I was in the comments every day, just talking to people. Just even if it wasn't much they say, you know, but that's just what you do. You want them to encourage fan theories. Yeah, do that. Unless you're Isaki, don't do that, because I want to be sure of what's going on. But everyone else, encourage fan theories. Okay? Encourage fan theories, because like, just, oh my god, get the fuck out, man.
We've been going on for like 2 hours, by the way.
Did you see? I mean, do you want me to leave, Kaz? Is you trying to tell me something?
No, I mean, but we kind of need to keep it at a amount, like, in terms of length. Plus, because if we are going to be it was quite a meaty episode, and chances are people are going to be sharing this because, you know, you have like shouted out certain people.
Share it. Anybody share it. Please clip several sections.
Honestly, if anyone can, like, you know, send this to Tom Akel and he gives us a response,
tell Tom I love him.
No, I mean, no. Tell him we understand. Like, it is a lot more that readers aren't considering, or like people who have said that he should have focused on this and that aren't considering.
He seems like a decent guy. He's willing to engage in discourse with the people who work on his site, that site he was managing. He makes good content. So all I want to know is just, you know,
what the hell?
Yeah, what the hell? Who are you? And let me just understand your stuff. You know, I want to understand the kind of guy you are that you would even get to this job. You know, that kind of stuff. So genuinely, I think we should we should take all the advice from today. Encourage, okay, just basic stuff. Encourage your readers to talk to you. It's really useful and a good way of getting yourself, not only yourself, but the company at large to understand the current market that they're residing in. Be honest with your people about cash money.
If you're a commenter, please take care of your favorite authors.
Yeah,
tell them, especially if you leave a well thought out one in comment, it really makes their day more than you realize.
Tell them some nice shit. Don't kiss too much ass, but kiss just a little bit of ass, like you would when you're talking to like a teacher that you want to give you stuff. Lehzin is a weird company. I advise you not to work with them. But hey, you do you.
Yeah, I mean, speaking about support and like sponsoring your favorite people, I think we should like highlight that we are sponsored by
WCHUB.
Yes, very much.
A high level, high quality maker of merchandise for the people who draw comics on the internet. Did I word that right? I think that was completely accurate, actually. Yeah. But yeah, you want to make let's say you've got a good fan base, or even not so good fan base, and you want to make them buy stuff that has your face on it, or maybe the face of one of your characters, or maybe a mashup of your face and the face of one of your characters because you're a creepy weirdo who draws stuff like that. I don't judge. I respect all art. Check out WCHUB. If you want to, you just get in contact with him. He really does merch at reasonable prices for your fans and with a good cut for the people who make the content that's going on it.
We've plugged the fact that he was selling Merryweather.
Yeah.
Last time, and there's actually like more to come at some point as well from other webtoon creators.
He's got stuff from people like Carolus, Merryweather, Air, good people who make good content.
Fan art generally.
Yeah. But yeah, you want to make some good merch, and he's willing to work with you on the different types of merch, and I hope you check him out. And also, if your fans are getting some stuff, and maybe they want to buy stuff because they want to be cheap, they want to save some money, they want to save some cash money, tell them to use the code WCHUB to get $5 off anything over $50. Because frankly, who doesn't need $50 worth of your merchandise? Who doesn't? I know I don't. I need to stop talking like this.
I think that's pretty much us, right?
Yeah.
For the day. And who do we have in 2 weeks from now?
In 2 weeks we're supposed to have Mia. We were supposed to have Dan this week, but
no, actually not Mia. Mia said that she couldn't make like the end of the month because she's got cons. So we would have had Mia this week and Dan like on the last. You already fixed Dan, so
Dan was supposed to be this week, but Dan, that was my bad. I fixed Dan way too early, but Dan also didn't show, so I'm kind of sad. You've
asked him to reschedule though, but
I
Dan
I haven't gone back from him. I'm sure he's just busy or dealing with Christmas stuff. It's except 50 off you. Okay. I mean that means I can call someone new in 2 weeks.
Yeah. But we do have I think. Are we going on break for December? I think we said we were.
We are going on break for Christmas because, we're people. Fuck you. We're not doing Christmas.
so one more show for November. We'll have to figure out the December schedule. We maybe one, maybe not before the end of the month, right?
It'll probably be a really boring indie where we actually record and we upload because it will be. You know what?
Maybe
reminds me. You need to get Michi back so that I can ask her why she's so obsessed with young Shota boys.
She and Issa would be like a good for a Shota special.
God, yes,
both featured.
Two moderately older women who really like.
Oh God! Can you not announce it? I mean, there are some people we would like to revisit.
I want to revisit a lot of people. I want to revisit Clippy and Score on My Heart because I really like this stuff and I still read it.
It changed a lot since we listened because they did a rework. I want to revisit Stina's because obviously she had to have some time off.
Especially since she's back.
Yes, she's back, and I feel like we need to have a do-over right by her. Like,
I need to have a massive do-over right by her, and then also buy her cake. I need to give her some cake to apologize.
Yes. Oh, bless.
No, yeah, there's lots of people we can call, but it's 2 weeks. I don't know who we can get before 2 weeks comes out. I hope can you pull some magic, or do I have to pull some magic? I feel like you're already pulling magic. Are you doing magic? Are you doing magical things? Oh, by the way,
I wish.
Which reminds me, we have confirmed Sophism because yes, because I'm a genius, and I messaged her and she said yes because she's awesome and she's gonna watch this and she's gonna be like, I'm happy I said yes to that really weird, annoying guy that kept messaging me asking for an interview. But yeah, check out Muscle Box. Remember all the things we said today? Clip whatever you want. I don't mind. And we love you all for spending an inordinate amount of time listening to us talk. We really do appreciate it.
Please, follow us on Twitter and join our Discord for dates on the next show. Suggest things to us.
Yeah, suggest things to us.
We covered Legend because it was a suggestion.
Yeah.
Wow, can you spell Discord?
Look, woman, don't at me. Okay. Follow us on Twitter and all the things. Share all our content. If you think that what we make is worth it, maybe give us $1 on Patreon. Who knows? We can make more content that way. Because we actually do want to make more stuff.
Yes.
We do actually want to make more stuff. We have plans. Yes. Thank you so much.
Can I get a shadow clone so I can?
Oh my god.
Yeah, but yeah. So stay tuned. We will update on like the the topic, or if we get the author for the next podcast in about 2 weeks. And yes, we love you all. Thanks for all of you who tuned in. But yeah, until next time, I guess this has been Kaz.
I have been drinking.
And then yes, very much. Yeah, it was. Okay then. Take care. See y'all next time.
Bye. I have been drinking. Are you fucking serious? How do you let me get away with this shit?
It helped, I guess.